Gilliam. Assalamu alaikum. Nailah, and peace to all. We're going to continue what we did last time. I had a schedule of the Holy Scriptures, and I know I get caught in giving the lessons or whatever, but we're going to stick into reading the Holy Scriptures. I want to give everyone go into the Quran, the surface of the Quran, and then I'm going to go into the Holy Scripture of the infinite wisdom, the Holy Scripture source of the Surah 7. And I'm going to read a chapter out of that. And that lesson that I had planned, this is why this is 104B, was to know thyself in the Quran. And from the infinite wisdom, Holy Scripture is the wise and the ignorant. And it's in regards to tumultuous acts and things that are going on now within the movement. I'm going to take a moment to give our little PSA. Today, Friday, our beloved prophet, Ali, had told our people that it's a holy day to all Muslims, and it's a holy day to us Hindus, us Magi also. It was a day that it was considered that man was formed in flesh and also departed out of flesh. Alright, so this is celebrated all around the world. And like I say about the Nation of Islam when I bring them up, a lot of their traditions, the very simple things that they do, if you didn't know, they took that, some of it from the MOORS-MUURS Temple of America. So if you ask a brother or a sister of Nation of Islam, especially brothers, we see them have a white pocket square. Of course, their white shirt, but they would always say we wear a little something white because Friday is a holy day. All right. We'd like to also thank you for coming out to the House of Reawakening Minds. As we strive to give you, spiritual teachings, and just as well as the jurisprudent teachings and the Magi teachings that they now y'all use the term Freemasonry, kind of in here, and we're definitely in helping you to have free thought and self-discovery, and especially regarding the MOORS-MUURS Temple of America, because I tell you, Brother Prophet Ali, he's one of my heroes. I have spiritual brothers that are my heroes, saints and prophets. Prophet Ali, along with Prophet of Sars Ali Lamorian, and Ascended Master Tehudi, you call Thoth or Toth, Al-Moria Khan. These are great individuals who have done a lot to help push society forward. Ali had done a lot. He put his life on the line to free our people. And we also don't want to forget that not only Ali, a lot of people keep leaving this brother out because he was out. Ali was our prophet Emmanuel, Jesus of Nazareth. And our John the Baptist was Brother Marcus Garvey. I got to find out whether he was a deal with Bey. But they worked very close together. And we can't let a lot of Moors forget that. We can't even let the new people not forget that. You need to know that. So we're here to unite the MOORS-MUURS Temple science and history and all to those who are unconscious. Again, this is being brought to you by the House of Reawakening Minds, located at 602 Vanderveer, am I saying this correctly? Vanderveer Ave, Wilmington, Delaware. The postal zone is 19806. Again, folks, it's 2, it's the end. All right. Again, this is the House of Reawakening Minds, 602 Vanderveer Ave, Wilmington, Delaware. Postal zone is 19802. All right. So PSA. So those who want to bite these videos, you have the House of Reawakening Minds on there. And I will stop and say, this is brought to you by House of Reawakening Minds. All right, we're going to continue opening. The lovely cherub, Dr. Nailah had did the Moorish prayer, the way the Moors do it in the MOORS-MUURS Temple. And I want to keep the tradition that what Father has started at the Moorish Order Roundtable. And those who go back with us well past 25 years know that the Lemurian Honor Society, which was my study group, was an offshoot of the Moorish Order Roundtable. We all came under the umbrella of the Moorish movement of the Great Seal. We were there to try to unite all the movements, even under the reincarnated temple, whatever. Because again, you know, it's that old saying, united you stand, but divided you will fall. And right now, there's no excuse for us. Everybody keep playing like they're trying to be for us in our freedom. But it seems like a lot of people don't read history, because why you read history? Because if you don't, you're bound to repeat it. So a wise man and wise woman reads history, knows that all life goes reciprocal, because everything is reciprocal. If you ignore it, you're bound to repeat it. You're bound to fall into the folly of your ancestors. Here is our Circle 7 Quran in the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm reading from page 35, chapter 25, and it is the actual chapter of the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. And Father always wanted to have this read. It's kind of like an open prayer, or to set the tone of all of our meetings, whether it was for the jurisprudence, or the etymology, or the astrology, or even the other spiritual sciences, or what have you, history. Because when you hear the words of the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation, it is to remind you, brothers and sisters, and it tells you that, as we can see, a lot of them don't even follow the teachings of the Moorish Circle 7 Quran. Because if they did, the words that's in this chapter, we wouldn't have the tumultuous or the little fiefdoms and little fights we have among us. And especially in this day and time, with all this information out here, we should not have too many splintered groups. We should be united. We should be strong. And as I'm the only one that's going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it, what we're having is a result of COINTELPRO. We're going to have to start weeding out these agent provocateurs among us and stop letting Europeans or even other Asiatics get in our ear. Because what they do is to stymie the movement, to put disinformation, to discredit the leaders, teachers, to discredit the movement. Over 25 years ago, we didn't have that, Moors. When you walked out these doors and you had your turban and your fez on, you got respect. I'm talking from Europeans, Asiatics, whether they're Freemasons, East Stars, or whatever, as well as Nation of Islam. Because every time a Moor opened his or her mouth, they knew you was talking truth. It was like it was etched in stone. And the moral character of a Moorish American, a Moorish national. You had a high moral standard. You weren't caught up in no flim-flam, shenanigan type of crap. The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, so that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relations that bind you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Now, as we, in fact, I don't want to hold this. Let me say a few things here. Just verse 3 from chapter 25, just that alone could darn near write a book. You're going to have a damn near dissertation of what's going on now. Where it says, and when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. How many times we have seen other so-called Moors go at other Moors for petty things? And then I'm the one who keeps saying, I'm tired of seeing that. And then I start naming individuals who hurt this movement. Oh, now I can't even really say what I want to say publicly because why? It causes confusion. But I ain't never heard nobody call me a liar on it. And my thing is, you go and attack my father, his grace. That's a good man. He's a real good man. He's really an old man. He's a good brother. But you had individuals, and they're still breathing, who've done things to harm this movement and so-called sisters. Well, I call them imps and minions. And yet I don't see you people go after them. And again, do I have to read verse 3? And when ye separate into the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity. You know, y'all are the same individuals who go in and so-called chiding and try to shame Freemasons. As I already told you, those of you who follow and who was aware of me, letting you know that that whole order is based off of your ancient faith, that I am the truth who stands before you as a Hitchian, but you knew us in history as a king or queen priest or Magi. So the Europeans uncovered those truths and tried to restructure it, and they called it Freemasonry. And one of the main things that they have in Freemasonry that they keep reminding the brothers and sisters symbolically, just as well as physically, is the cord that binds you. And any of the brothers that went through the ritual, you know what I'm saying. So I'm not only the 33rd, 360. So I'm telling you, when we go through the ritual, they call it the cable tow. You have a rope around your neck. And it's tied to another brother, 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 and to another brother. Now, what would happen if one is walking and he was to fall? What did I tell you where the rope is tied? Around the neck. So it's your best interest to what? That brother falling? You go ahead and let him go, but it's going to harm you. You get where I'm coming from now? I'm giving you part of the ritual, but I'm giving it to you because I'm 360, so I'm a Magi. So a lot of y'all keep looking at third thing, but my Magi trumps all of that. So I'm giving it to you. That's the difference between them all. We free, we can tell you. It's symbolic. So this verse here is reminding you that you have love that bindeth you with love and unity. A lot of these Moors, you ain't even functioning that way. And even Freemasons and Eastern Stars have to be reminded that. But at least they will tell you. Remember I gave you the example of the trowel? And I said, what do they mean on the 3rd degree? This is the yeah, there you go. This is the overview look of it, and it'll be a handle. And it usually be a little thing that has an indent. That's the top part of it. And it's used to spread cement. And the cement of what? Brotherly love. So they even have to remind them brothers, their own brothers on that. But I'm saying to you, again, you already aware it's based off of your culture, your creed. This is a symbol, again, I'm going to make sure I write it because I'm taking notes. This is a symbol of a Master Mason. I know I'll probably write on the board. Now, when you're saying this, this also includes the system. Of course, you remember you're in the United States, so they always keep saying Eastern Star, but I take you to at least a pure state, and I tell you to study the international Freemasonry. And when you go into that, then you'll find out that the women are also Master Masons. One of my students asked me about the symbol on the Queen of England. And she had the compass and square on. Because she's across the pond and you're not caught up with the junk here in the U.S. So she was initiated, she's a Master Mason. All right, so. But this is usually the symbol of the Master Mason. It's the trowel. Again, that's when you're dealing with Freemasons. You know, if someone's literally laying bricks down, and they would have the little trowel. This is the top version of it, and the side version, and they dip it in the cement, slap it on on the stone, and they spread it to what? Prepare it to have the other rocks there. And then they get the sides of it, depending on which is going to be the finishing side. It's just going to be the outside. You don't want the clumped up cement there. You smooth it out. So, all I'm saying here was, Charlie gave you everything he needed. He told you the Muslims in the East. And when he said the Muslims, he also meant the Hittians, or you say Magi in the East have released the keys to help you. And he said he took what he wanted, what he needed to help you get out of your condition. Now, we want to make sure, once I read my lesson chapter that I had, this is the scripture of the source of the Simple Seven. That's why Gilliam said, I took what you needed. But he also kept saying, Moors, it's more truth behind these doors. He said, the half hasn't been told. He said, if I tell you everything, you go back to sleep. But I wanted to focus on that real quick. On how, again, just looking at the actions, recounting the actions of those who are so-called active and who are out here now, and you see all this calamity, all the backbiting, and people wonder why you can't have easy access to me, because I don't go for the crap. I don't have time. So, again, and when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. All right, I'm going to go on to that because there's a lot that I was supposed to have read the last time, but we're going to get into these scriptures. And then we're going to do, here's my curriculum for today, to repeat. We're going to read chapter 36, and this is to, in regards to know thyself. And what I am focusing this class on, in this session sermon on, is for those who are causing too much confusion, and you got people that are posing as wise men or wise women, but they're really fools. So, I felt in my heart to do my sermon piece off of chapter 36 in the Circle 7 Quran, the holy instruction from the prophet of knowing thyself. And then I'm going to back it up from the infinite wisdom scriptures that I just showed you. But like I said, this is the source, and we're going to make sure you get copies so y'all can have this. Many of the people out here on the mainstream, even though I fell back, I was still teaching a lot. I just had my numbers small, my cipher. But some of my students was able to get some of these things. So now that y'all got me kind of in the mainstream, we're trying to do our best to make sure you get this knowledge. So nobody can ever say it's never been held back from you. But I'm going to read from the Infinite Wisdom, chapter 5, and that's page 39 on that one. And it's going to be under wisdom and ignorance, and the ignorant. Now, you're probably wondering why you want to talk about the wise. Remember, I said you got wise people claiming to be wise, but acting like fools. I found myself these last 10 years with Sabir Bey, one of our students, my man, Sage Sabir Bey, and my father, His Grace, they for years, and Santasha L., that sheriff down in Atlanta, they for years been trying to get me back on the scene. And I kept noticing that, what I was seeing, that we had a lot of people that's acting like wise men or women, but they were fools. And they were living true to an old saying, and this is the old saying: the wise man could play the fool, but the fool could never play the wise man. There's a good movie I have referred to, because I know all these refer movies. People say, oh, we bring up movies. But I know what I'm dealing with you. You're not thinking in words, you're thinking pictures. There's a 1970-something movie, 75 or so, Michael Caine and Sean Connery. The movie is called The Man Who Would Be King. And it's Yeah, I could say heavily laced Masonic movie. Matter of fact, I'll tell you the beginning of it, and you're going to enjoy it, but you're going to see the wisdom that I just told you being in play of the wise man can play the fool, but the fool can never play the wise man. Starts out that Michael Caine, the guy that you're used to playing Alfred in the recent Batman movies, he was a thief, and he walked up on, was it Sean Connery or another man? It's been a while. Anyway, and he stole a watch from him. They were in a train station, and he obviously was a professional thief. And then when he opened the watch, he realized it was a Masonic symbol on it. And then he was like, because he was a Freemason. And part of the Freemason cornerstones, and I still indulge you to endeavor to study Freemasonry. We're trying to bring you that information too. I gave some stuff to Dr. Nailah, a whole lot more. But anyway, some of your tenets in the Freemasonry is you're not supposed to do any wrong to another fellow Master Mason. You can't gyp him. You don't mess with his wife. You don't do, you know what I mean? You don't steal from him. You understand what I'm saying? So those same tenets apply to you Moorish Americans. So he's looking, he's like, oh. So now he's obligated. He's holding his obligation, even though he was a thief. I gotta return this watch. So now he walks up and he comes back to the guy and he realizes he gotta follow him. He follows him on the train. That wasn't his destination. Now he's going because he got to slip this watch back to him. And so what he did was they had an East Indian guy. He had his turban on, and obviously he was in India. And he cut him some watermelon, and he asked him, "You want some?" He's like, "No, no." So what Michael Caine's character did, he slipped a watch into the unsuspecting East Indian brother. And he quickly accused him, he stole your watch, and he kicked the man off the train while it was moving. So then he gave it to the brother, and he said, "Oh, he took your watch." And he said, "I see you're a Freemason. I'm not going to go all into how we recognize each other." And then that's when he recognizes another Freemason. But the movie goes in where him and Sean Connery character decides to go further into the East, and they wanted to be kings. They wanted to conquer a land, and they become kings. And they did their little bet to each other because they were fellow Masonic brothers. And the movie's very entertaining, but it shows you how they got across the land. They played the fool and the interpreter. All right, so I don't want to keep telling you too much about the movie, but I want to stick to my point because I'm talking about those who are attacking my father, myself, and Sabir, and even people that were doing good in this movement. And I kept saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this since the time y'all had me on a blog talk. I said, since y'all people going to be iggas and you want to do negative-ish, stop harming innocent people. If you need to do it, harm the negative people. Take the individuals out that are harming your nation. Go after the people who are harming your nation. You do have a lot of individuals here who claim to be wise, but they're fools. Because know this, and this happened to me, and I can tell this little vignette early this year. This was right at the time, I guess y'all could say y'all activated me, and y'all invited me here. I was in a barbershop in Canada. I'm not going to go into detail, and one of the brothers is familiar with Father and I work, and he wanted me to come there and speak to his brother. So he knew I was going to do my prayer walk. And so I did my prayer walk, and I decided to stop by. So while I came by, I was sitting there waiting, and another guy came in, and this Moorish brother introduced me. I thought it was his brother. Remember I tell you, I call you cherubs. I give you half of what's in. I can read people more. Like I said, I ain't blaming myself no more when having negative people around me. Now I can read, I can see you coming. But I can read all negativeness all on this guy, deep olive, and he did the worst. He filled the stereotype. You know how people always say, well, they black, he couldn't be, and they just act negative. He did it. He showed his hand. He had his girlfriend with him. So the brother was like, yo, this is Dr. Hannibal. He's like, can you tell him about the dollar bill, whatever, what have you. But it kind of broke off from the conversation. So what I did, I took it and made it simple. I told the brothers, I said, look, your nationality, your Moors, you need to study. And it just so happens the sister that was with them, she was saying, oh, you're Moor? She said, I'm Nuwabian Moor and whatever. And I'm like, all right. I said, I'll say this to you, sister. Because, of course, you have to learn tact. And you already know what I said, and I can't repeat it no more because it caused confusion. I said to the sister this, I said, the leader that gave you that knowledge, which a lot of y'all don't know, some of you are starting to know, he was taking our literature and he was rewriting it in the 90s. And prior to that, y'all called yourself Nubians. I said, here's the best gem tool I can give you whenever you're searching for truth. Doesn't matter if it's Moorish or spiritual, whatever it is. You ever want to know about something? We'll say, we'll use the river as an example. Whenever you see a river and it's fresh water, we'll always say, if you ever want to know what the source of the water is, what's the best thing to do? Keep following upstream. Because why? You'll eventually get to its source. So I told her, I said, so, because I didn't want nobody, because people get all into their feelings. And I said, so, again, when you're dealing with the Moorish movement, you're dealing with your nationality, you're being Moroccan descent. I said, follow the source. Go back to the person who started it all. Because I said it was Prophet Noble Drawley. All these Eastern religious groups must pay homage to Drawley because he was the only one who brought this back onto these shores, brought the Eastern faith to have the rich come back onto these shores. And notice, nobody don't give him recognition. And then you already know the truth. I already told y'all the 5 key people who was his grand sheiks took this knowledge and definitely waited till when he left. Became millionaire. 4 of them out of the 5 became millionaires off that knowledge. So anyway, I told him, I said, I'm telling him, you got to stop using the word black. We already know. And I said, it was a time when you look at even the Nation of Islam, they used to address yourselves as, what they say, black Asiatic man, black Asiatic woman. I said, now it's like they just dropped that and everybody's just saying black. Y'all not realizing they're making you digress. And I said, there's no excuse now. You're in this new millennium. You're truly in the information age. And I said, a lot of you, you're spoiled. Because I said, what we took years and decades to put in research and to give to you, it takes a lot of my dad to type the stuff up. A lot of times I ain't had patience to type my stuff up. And I started out a whole lot of stuff y'all still didn't get that was a part of round table. But I digress on that. But the point is, you can now pull up your little cell phone, your smartphone, and go do research on anything. That's one thing I had to get used to, having classes where, sermons where I'm dropping stuff. Y'all just sitting here going right, and you pull stuff right on up. So I'm saying that there's no excuse for you sitting there calling yourself black. And I said, what you should be using as your race is Asiatic. You know that sucker went at me as if I was a Satanist or I stole this woman. I think he was jealous because this woman was listening anyway. I don't want to get into detail. But he said, there is no Asiatic race I study but the best. There's only a human race. I have no respect for you. I always tell you, I had no time. I step. Also, no, don't be where you're not wanted, Moors. And I wouldn't be when I was wanted. Plus, that was something that I rarely do. That's why I'm like, I don't waste my time with people. It didn't mind me none. Matter of fact, I'm only condensing the story because it was like every time I kept dropping something, he kept talking over me. And other people that was inadvertently listening to the conversation in this barbershop, they had to say, yo, brother, shut up. Let the brother get his point across. Let him say what he got to say. You talking over me, he can't say what he got to say and everything. So, again, like I said, the wise man can play the fool, but the fool can never play the wise man. And the other hint of those fools is they swear they know every damn thing. And they just never shut up. So, I ain't going to go off on that little vignette there, but that was something that got personal. Of course, I condensed it. Usually, a lot of the students, when y'all see me and you come here, it's me personally, I usually go in privately. But now it looks like I have to censor some of the things that I have to say. So, chapter 36. Now, I want you to really, those who may be listening, if you want to watch this and replay back, or if you're watching live, this is page 44. I want you to also notice, and I'm dropping you as a hidden gem here. Chapter 36 could be equivalent to your 32nd degree. That is a master of the royal secret. Or in the northern jurisdiction of Scottish Rite, the sublime prince of the royal secret. So this is how important that this chapter is. I'm going to read it. And sometimes I have to stop myself because I might want to go in and I don't want to lose my thought. But you'll see why the importance of why Prophet Gilliam made sure he put holy instructions in here. We have mostly anything that we need is right before us, but Moors, again, keep doing what the prophet will tell you. Moors, you just don't be yourselves. And then just because we figure we're grown, we don't also still see ourselves as children. Chapter 36. The holy instructions from the prophet, know thyself. Oh, and if you didn't know the motto of a 32nd degree, it's my hope is in God. Verse 1. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust, wouldst thou rise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? Wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? Contemplate thy frame. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy Creator with awe, and rejoice before him with reverence. Wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect, but that thou shouldest behold his works. Wherefore art thou to behold, but that thou mayest admire them? Wherefore to admire, but that thou mayest adore there and thy Creator? Wherefore is the consciousness reposed on thee alone, and whence it is derived to thee? It is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knoweth not that the worm shall eat him. The ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. Something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay. Higher than all is the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? The body remaineth perfect after it is fled. Therefore, it is no part of it. It is immaterial, therefore, it is eternal. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. Knoweth the ass the use of food, because his teeth mow down the heartage. Or standeth the crocodile erect, although his backbone is as straight as thine. Allah formed thee as he formed these. After them all wert thou created, superior and command, where given thee over all, and his own breed did he communicate to thee the principle of knowledge. Know thyself and the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and the matter. Behold a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thy own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. Who planted terror in the tail of the serpent? Who clothed the neck of the horse with thunder? Even he who has instructed thee to crush the one under thy foot, and to tame the other to thy purpose. Now again, Moors, as I said, and I want you to do research, this will be considered because there's so many keys and gems within this chapter to know thyself. This will be equivalent, again, like I said, to a 32nd degree, if you want to make it equivalent and show you how important this is, of a master of the royal secret. That's the title of the 32nd degree. All right? And like I said, and the motto of the 32nd degree is, my hope is in God. All right, now, I want to keep this moving because I was going to read this last time, and I want to keep this moving. All right. So, again, before I leave from this, I just want to point out that the main point of me reading this is for you to know thyself. And I'm basically going towards knowing thy higher self and lower self. You know, just basically to revere what the Lord has created for you, how the Lord had created us all, and to know that you have your higher self and your lower self. And it seems like a lot of individuals are really just delving more into their lower self than their higher self. And the saddest of the sad is a lot of individuals are saying, oh yeah, I'm Moor and I'm a Muslim. And they're not really acting that way. They're not acting as if they're a brother or sister with higher morals. So I just wanted to get that out here, because I keep this moving, this little theme thing I have here. Now, remember I said that the prophet had told y'all so many things, and I've been trying to get to this for a while. I know at the last class, and I showed you, now we're going to read from this. This is the actual source of Holy Scripture that the prophet had gotten, got the pieces from the Holy Circle 7 Quran, and we're going to make sure we try to get this in your hands also, Moors. And of course, I'm not going to go all through this, but we'll go through it in class, and then I got to lead you also into the Holy Quebec. But you will see when you read it, you'll see the pieces that the prophet had used for your holy instructions, and you'll see that it actually matches. And the only difference that you'll see is in the Circle 7, you'll see it says Allah, and you'll see in the Infinite Wisdom here that, you know, it just says God. Now, to give you a little bit, I'm going to read the front part of it, and I'm not going to go too much into the little history part of it, because it has a little epilogue here, introduction. But this is a scripture that was in Tibet. So it says, Infinite Wisdom, translated into Chinese by Dr. Cao So, the Prime Minister of China, from ancient manuscripts found in the Grand Temple of Tibet, believed to have been written 600 years before the birth of Prophet Emmanuel, the Nazarene, by the venerable author whose name remains unknown. So that's how old this scripture is. And again, so what I'm saying to you is I want to dispel what individuals were trying to say to us Moors in the 90s, from the 80s and 90s, and one of them is with the Nubian thing, and I'm not going to mention names because everybody won't get it, but anyway, he was right along with the others to try to say Prophet Jirabi plagiarized, and he did, because the other source of the other Holy Scripture, and I didn't bring mine, and I know you have books here on the shelves, but it's called Aquarian Gospel by Levi, and that book answers the question which a lot of Christian leaders lied to, especially our people. I'm not caring what they do with the Europeans, because that's their creed, that's their cult, their Christian faith. But they lied and told people that he had 18 years of teachings of his life that was not found, and it was lost, which was a lie. Because Levi, and I'm pretty sure he was a Christian, went through the Akashic records for what we understand. And at this moment, we should understand what the Akashic records is. That's the infinite mind. You may call it creator, that you can pull all history. You can pull all history, a lot of information is the infinite mind, that you can see into the past. And what you must understand, brothers and sisters, too, that there are a lot of books that were burned during the Christian Crusades when the Europeans were invading us. This is why me bringing forth the Holy Corbet and other scripture books that you're like, whoa, because these were books that were down there obliterated. And I have some other rare books, and I lost one of them, you know, again, I got to replace it. You had the Order of Spitzalad. That was the right-hand path, and this was in Kent. His book and his structure, this priesthood, that stuff was destroyed in the Alexandria library when the Christians came in and they ransacked. All right. So we're talking about when you're contacting the Akashic records, when you got a war that is skilled, that they, you know what I mean, and definitely you have to deal with individuals who are pure when they deal with this. I always tell you all, we need to wake up, because a lot of your holy scriptures and things of the past that you would say that are Oriental or to the East, I noticed a lot of Europeans are translating it, and I kept saying this, and there's no insult, but it's true. We got to stop letting the Europeans translate it, because what they're doing, every time they touch something, they taint it. Remember, their vibration only goes to so high, and anything in the spiritual that they touch, they Christianize it. You understand what I'm saying? They can't even call Prophet Emmanuel, you know, Jesus of Nazareth. They're going to call him Christ. They know darn well that's a curse. It's no different than, it's equal to them calling you black. To be crucified meant anyone is crucified. If you really study the history, you will find that it meant anyone who was crucified by a Roman soldier. If you were a dissident. The knowledge that any of you Moors have here, and you speak up and try to teach the people, the Roman rulers, because like Father said, the Roman Empire never fell. They only moved it here. Why do you think they give respect to the Capitoline wolf? And that's the story of Romulus and Remus. There were two twins left in the damn woods, and a wolf mothered them, and she let them suck from her teats the milk. And they were the founders of the Roman Empire. So Rome never fell. Like Charlie Murphy said, but I digress. So the point is, you know what I'm saying, that we got to have our brothers and sisters to truly be in their higher spiritual self. This is why the prophet made sure you would know about higher self and lower self. And a lot of us are falling short. And only a handful of us are being of their higher self. And you know who those individuals are. They have beautiful spirits. And you can basically tell, too, by history, every time there's a holy man or a holy woman and they're doing good, guess what you'll find? They got detractors. They're trying to malign them. And then if you're a truly good person and have a clear eye to see things, and you get to meet them personally, you see, I don't know what they're saying about this person. Then you really know it's history. Anybody that's really doing good or does good work and they're working for the Creator, you can feel the God continents around them. And then you always know the opposition, which is basically our problems, is for centuries. The Roman Empire, Europeans. Also, don't forget, their motto is it's their God-given right to rule. To conquer. That is a motto of the Romans. They say that. I have it in a children's book. I need to copy it if I don't bring it. That is their motto. Their motto is that they say it's their God-given right to conquer. That should tell you something about their nation. All right, so all I'm saying is, you have a lot of books out there that are being translated and so-called channeled and what have you. The Europeans, and like I said, every time I know this is back in the 90s, and every time I see there's always a European author, and I'm like, all right, that's good, but then that means that information is tainted. And then I get pissed off because I'm looking at my people. We're supposed to be so spiritual, but you know how we get, if it ain't Jesus in it, I don't want to hold it, you know, or if it ain't Muhammad in it, I always say, I think the angels are really pissed at us. Because you're supposed to be the original people. We got melanin. This is supposed to be your DNA. It's supposed to be your key to the universe, connecting with the Akah, or you call heaven, connecting with the divine. And I'm pretty sure them angels, they have no problem dictating to you what needs to be corrected. Do we not know the history of one of my other favorite prophets, Prophet Muhammad? Who dictated the book to him, the Holy Quran? It was an angel Gabriel. So I'm thinking the angels are probably saying, you know, I wanted to talk to such and such, such and such, but they so steeped in Christianity that as soon as they hear or see something, they go, oh, I'm scared. And you can see an angel be like, I ain't got no time. Let me go over here to Bob Jim Smith. And they deal with the best that they can. I'm pretty sure the Creator is probably pissed at us. And it makes no sense. And then we keep hollering, we are gods, and we this and that. We should be past that right now. We should be pulling out not only ancient history. That's another thing I want to make sure I'm going to read some other ancient history that's lost in the regular textbooks. I'm going to read that tonight from the Holy Corbett and other pieces. And we should be getting other holy scriptures. That's what the Holy Corbett was. It was being dictated, the prophet of SARS, by one of the twin angels, Bella and Belicia. They dictated directly to prophet of SARS. This is a prophet way before the oldest faith that they recognize, which I keep telling y'all, Zoroaster. And I told you Zoroaster, or they call him Zoroaster. He was a Hittian. He was in our faith. I didn't repeat myself, but I'm trying to make a point that he was a keeper of one of our sacred objects. And he wanted to leave the main camp and finally take this science back to his people. And then he found someone worthy. And then once he did, then he went back to his people, and then the rest is history. And then the people named the faith after him. Zoroaster. And if you study it, even the European Christians can't deny them. They actually say, for an ancient faith, they surely are a well-organized religious group. And they said that they were the first organization or religious organization on the planet that believed in monotheism, meaning one God. But I just told you, he was a follower in our faith. He just took the faith. And they were just Moors that didn't let the Europeans invade and tear this up down. So that's the only reason why that faith, you barely get any information from now, but it exists. And here's the other reason why it's fading out. Remember I explained to you all, I said you being the Hittians, or the term y'all familiar with, it's Magi. That I told you the symbol that represented our faith, that, we are the original, if you will, if you call Jews, or C.M. Bey made that clear in your Circle 7, in your Clock of Destiny, that the Europeans came up with that. They were those who were our Hittians, and when you fell, they renamed themselves Jews. All right? Now, with your faith, you are directly connected to the Creator. This is what we call, all it means is knowledgeable people of the Creator. But the other terms that y'all called us, because you knew we were a holy order, you called us the king priest or the royal priesthood. And if you see the sisters, because in our faith, we were equal. You know what I mean? The women and men were considered equal. We didn't believe in no patriarch over the woman or the matriarch over man. We were even. That's the way the Creator has set it up. So, but the other term that you would call us is, like I say, the Magi. So that's why I use the term, because that's what you're all used to. All right? But, we believe in there's one Creator. And the reason why our word was sacred is because, again, we had direct contact with the divine. If we didn't know something, if you actually worked the exercises and did the rituals, having a normal journey on the holy days, you already know I covered a few times. I don't think I need to cover it tonight. What you do, you start opening up and developing your ox of power. This is what the Creator said. He calls the power that the Creator said, I give you. This is your God power that the Lord gave you. The Creator you call Allah. Or like I'm telling you, we're talking about right now, the Zoroastrians, they call the Creator Ahura Mazda. You Muslims, you call Allah. Us Hittians or Magi, we call the Creator Aurelia. That's the Creator said his name. Because our ancestors had enough sense to say, all right, well, we call you by this name, we go to this other land, this and that, whatever. But what is your name? Since you originally created everything, what's your name? And the Creator said, well, because you're man and, your consciousness is finite and you always want a name for everything. All right, well, my name is Aurelia. All it means is the thought. But that sounds kind of familiar, though, for you more Sumerians, don't it? Because Raleigh darn near gave you that in the Quran. Gave you Allah, thought so. So, but yeah, the ox of power, the Creator said, I've given you a portion when I created you. I gave you a portion of my power. And we call it the ox of power. AXA. Now, the key thing is, because this is what the Creator said, I'm condensing it. But as time go on, and I'm trying to stick because I know I usually go like this, but I'm going to read the scriptures to you to get this available to you. The Creator said, you so foolishly left a car to experience this lower existence. So in that process, you forgot yourself. You know what I mean? So, and this is the process that we're going through. And then now, remember, we're dealing with the great Lemurian experiment, Yakub Kokashis Koshitis. So now you're dealing with the Negro Javero Rabo DNA that's kind of, it's a lower form in us as the Moors, but the Europeans, that DNA is more higher in them. So now you're not only dealing with your lower consciousness you had when you were purebred Lemurians, but you're also now dealing with, you did a great experiment to hybrid. And like Prophet Muhammad always said, you study from the cradle to the grave. You study from A to Z. So that means from your astrology all the way to zoology. And I tell people, I say, look, you study the science of the chimpanzee. And one thing you'll find out, they're cunning. And trust, they got think tanks. And this is why I go into the Maya or hypnosis. We're going to do a demo to that. And we'll keep giving y'all more stuff so you can be able to operate and do this because you might be able to use it too. We'll do that for that. They do certain triggers, because we done went so far, I gave y'all enough now, when I'm telling you about the subliminals and they giving you triggers out here. This is why you hear people say, oh yeah, look at them age, you know, but they say niggas, and they chimping out. Now, if you study National Geographic, the lives of the chimps, there are moments that they chimp out, and they put a hurt on another chimp if they decide to gang him. And you'll be very surprised what you'll learn. So that's another little note. I instruct you all to, pull up documentaries on chimpanzee. And then you can look and see what's going on here. And then you see how Father always said, the European did like the Eddie Murphy movie, Trading Places. They the Negro, but then they made you the Negro. They traded places. They act like they all high solidity, but they made sure they put key certain subliminals out here to keep you on a lower consciousness and to what? Get back to the level of activate the chimpanzee, the Negro Javero Rabo in you, and that's why our people are living the way they are right now. It's a darn shame. Like I used to say this in the 90s, and some of you younger babies, you probably don't know nothing about this, but they used to have the club, remember the club in the car? They don't know nothing about that. And you used to put on the steering wheel. And I used to say, our people acting like fools. I said, tell me something, brothers and sisters. I said, when you go out here and you go back to your cars, you got the club on your car for some John Smith, or you got it for some damn Raheem Wilkins, or some Bush Cook, and that look damn like you. But here's the real deal, and this is why I keep trying to give you the science of Maya and hypnosis, and then to know how to do it and recognize it. They put certain key things into your community to trigger that and to make our people think on a Negro Javero or Rabo level. Now look at the trend, and we never had this when we was coming up. Call me if I'm right, because we're close in age. When we used to go to the mall, that was the thing to do. We used to love going to see y'all cute honeys. And I was a dancer, so sometimes, we used to go get our music. And I remember one time, me and my boys, we went to the Lindenwald Mall. It was the Echelon Mall at that time. And my boys, they got the breaking, and I was popping and stuff. And security and all them came. But we did it in press girls. We never thought it'd get to the point now. Guess what our children do? They don't go and do that to go and print and profile stuff. No, what do? They go chimp the hell out, destroy ish, and it gets to the point the malls have to close down. Something is wrong. What I'm telling you is the mass hypnotic suggestion that they have put out there to keep you asleep. Now it's your job as you Moors to wake up, to wake them up. All right, so now, where am I going with this? All right. Because I basically started on this by saying how we have to get back to the spiritual rituals. So some of the things that I'm doing, I'm not going to do it today because I'm determined to pick up where I left off last time because I didn't get to read from the scriptures like I intended. But just as Dr. Nailah opened up with the Morse prayer, I want to start implementing when we're doing the power chants. We don't have to put it on film, but I might do it again, so it'll be for those out there. We want to make this a part of your ritual. If y'all are doing this at home, before you even come out of the house, it helps raise your energy. It's no different than, you know, a person that lifts weights. Of course, they just started. But if it gets to the point they just keep doing it every day, you can't tell me they ain't going to walk around like this. Even if it's a woman, they still talking about my honey that could have played Storm, Angela Bassett. They saying, look at her body. She's still looking good when she played Tina Turner back in the early 90s. And she said she got in shape to do that. So all I'm saying, that's when I gave you those power chants. All right? Those Mama Shadabi, that power chants so you can build your spiritual energy. So when you are doing your spiritual work, you're adding serious energy to it. And also, too, don't slip. It also affects your physical strength, too. All right? And so some of you who are really into spiritual work, you'll wind up adding power to your prayers. If some of you, like I said, that are Reiki masters that are studying Reiki, it add energy to that. And here's the key thing, which I want to do tonight. When we assemble and we were to do power chant, I think I might take one that we would do together in unison, and then we do our cipher. It really augments your power. And this is the reason why, and I said this before, that the Christians had learned from us Moors, our ancient Moors, who we call us the Magi, and those are the Muslims. Or when you fellowship together, your power, you gain power, you make more power. This is what your religious leaders, whether it's the church, the mosque, or the synagogue. But we'll stick with what y'all used to because we already know the Europeans threw it at you, which is the church. This is why they have them fellowshipping. And you'll hear the preacher or whatever, yes, can you get the left, yeah, can you get the right, yeah. So the person over there, you say hallelujah or whatever. And what they're doing, they're getting everybody's mind focusing on one thing. And if you have your third eye open and you just squint just a little, you will see the high energy above the people. But here's the key thing. That leader is going to use that energy and direct it to his or her motive. This is why the regular congregation is barely making it or whatever, but the leader, oh, he got a new Mercedes out there. Oh, he bragged, he's got a new mansion. Oh, I seen one thing, one guy was bragging that his daughter had a $30,000 little dog or something like that. What happened? This is why they love it. Because they're using their science. But here's why I say don't condemn the Freemasons. It depends on the lodge. When they assemble, what do they say what makes a perfect lodge? If you ain't got that many people, but if you got 3 master majors, you can have a meeting. The key thing is they know to what we say again, fellowship. And they come together focusing on one mind and one thought. And like I said, it depends on the lodge. You get a good brother or sister who's really studious and they're taking this science and they're not being selfish with it. They're saying, all right, we're going to do this ritual, we're going to focus, we want everybody here to be prosperous. And then we want to help them some. When that brother needs, what's the name, we'll all come together, we'll pitch in. Whether it's financial or help or whatever. And then what happens is that all energy starts getting momentum. And it builds, and it builds, and it builds. And this is why you see a lot of individuals who's connected to those fraternity and order. They're successful. It's not hard. We can do the same. We can do the same. And like I said, I got other key pieces that can help you. So don't get caught up in, oh, the day that they worship, that's the devil, or the day the season changed. I already explained that to y'all before. I said that God's creator energy is Peru. This is the symbol of Peru. I know here I am repeating again, but this is for the point of the conversation. Meaning, it is the perfect balance. It's the extreme between the negative and the good energy, or we'll say positive energy. This is the energy that binds the two together. This is the creator, or this is the creator says, I am the whole, I am all of them. Alright? So on these particular days, and here, next week, is going to be your apex of summer. Remember, I went through all the days. I'm just going to touch on this for this. August 1st. That's the apex of summer. And that's the day that would be a great day to come together to worship, to fellowship. A great day to do ritual. And like I said, the right-hand path, we celebrate on that day. But those who follow the left-hand path, what did I tell you? Wherever you got good, evil's not too far behind. So this is why they do their rituals the eve of the holy day. Remember, I explained it to you on Halloween thing. I said, y'all forgot because you got caught up under the mass hypnotic spell of Satanism, and you worry about Halloween, and you even diverted that word. You even messed that word up. It was really Hallows Eve. That's the real way you say it. And then they place a spell on you. Because remember now, what they say with Satan? Satan just got to open the door just a little bit, just to crack his foot in. And he opened it up and he in. Remember, I also tell you the other thing is, they said, in order for people to fall for Satan's game, what do you got to do? You got to mix truth with his falsehood. You got to tell you some truth in order for you to buy falsehood. That's how you get in. So, like I said, so this is why they have their rituals the eve of the holy day, because they know, again, what you might say neutral, but the creator's energy is Pedro, and it can be used to the left-hand path just as well as the right-hand path. All right, they may do sacrament and stuff different, like you'll bless water or you'll bless wine. There's kosher wine in the ritual, and you have your bread. You are aware of that the wine represents the blood, or whatever, and or what have you, and the bread, the holy bread. Well, the left-hand path, they deal with feces, that's their bread. And they'll deal with urine, that's their thing. Or it might have blood. So, but the point is, they do rituals the night before. So, again, the high holy days, February 2nd, May 1st, August 1st. That's the apex of, the seasons. Because the winter you have the February 1st. Apex of the spring is May 1st. The apex of summer, which I just told you, is going to be August 1st. And then the apex of fall is November 1st. And that's called All Saints Day. Right? I ain't mean to repeat, because I know a lot of people repeat, but I just want to make my point. I'm only bringing that up again to say this. I'm just tired of our people not stepping up, doing what they're supposed to. Like I said, we should be at the point of contacting divine and channeling the books of sacred stuff that was burnt, that was destroyed. We should be, since you're saying you the gods, and you got Europeans that they yes.
It's it was about 12:15 a.m. this morning. Just woke up out of my sleep. Like, I know I was asleep. And it felt like my head was like in a washer, like a washing machine. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And my inner guide, was like, you know, there's something in the atmosphere going on, definitely going on. I mean, I could just feel the pull. I mean, it was like my head was spinning, I couldn't stop it. And then when I went and checked the astrology, it shows where the sun was in opposition against Mars.
Yeah, it's in retrograde just as well as yesterday. Mercury kicked in, and tonight I didn't get the eclipse time, but it's the blood moon and it's an eclipse today. So
Yes, it's a lunar eclipse, with the lunar eclipse, and I thought that was weird how your body will display what is going on in the above realm. So it just, that the saying, the Hermetic principle, as above, so below as above, that was just like on my mind to know that, oh my gosh, I can't believe my body is feeling all of this.
Let me add this. Just what you said, especially if those have been emotionally in. That shows that you're obviously doing some things to heighten your body spiritually, make it sensitive. But you sisters have that naturally. Alright? So you know when you go through your cleansing, your monthly cleansing, the actual pain you're feeling is actually you feeling the planets. You're feeling the movement of the planet. So I can't go too much into that because I'm a brother. But remember I told you before, it was some of the elder sisters, especially those in the temple. Like, the only one I can refer you to right now, stop my head, is the Sayed Raha, Rashida Bey, the elder, that was one of the teachers of my father and I, you know. And they will give you sister classes. This is why, again, like I said, I give respect. The Nation of Islam, because when they left the temple, they took a lot of the customs that was a part of the temple. So when you go to the Nation of Islam, they had their meetings. Sisters on one side, brothers on one side. And when they get deep into the lessons and they set off, there's classes for sisters as well as there classes for brothers. You understand? And so, you again, that's showing that you're developing spiritually, but that should be natural to you. And once you know that, then you utilize that science to help better your family and your, you know what I mean, and yourself, your life. Put it like this. This is the way the sisters are taught in the Eastern Star in prayer. You're basically holding your womb. So I'm giving you that little bit, but I want you to get to some of the sisters. I can only tell you so much. Alright? But it's symbolic again. It's important of your womb. You being womb man. You were the supreme gateway of coming onto this plane of existence for us. But these are some of the basic sciences that you lost. This is covered in the science that my father had dropped years ago, about over 20-some years ago. He called it Science of Nine. Alright? But, yeah, that's how the sisters do the ritual. When they come together in prayer, over their belly and womb. Now, since we said that real quick,
so is there anything that knowing this and coming into the knowledge of this, should I start preparing myself, knowing more about my natal chart and its alignment with the aspects that are moving and preparing for these things to occur?
Because again, like I said, the astrology, like I was telling the brothers, I'm not mastering it, but I learned enough of it to navigate. Like I said, I always tell my students in my cipher, if you don't do anything, and I fell short, because I normally would get a witch's almanac, at least let me know when the moon goes to the sun. Like I was telling the brother, we was driving, I was telling the importance of astrology. I said, the Christians, they're the main ones who talk all that. You know, you don't believe in astrology, this devil stuff, this and that. I said, well, I learned firsthand of the Bible though, because I lived down south for a year back in 89 and 90. And I really got to know the meaning of Bible though. What it means, everybody Christian. But I said, now take that same dumb stuff, and you know them farmers are Christians. They ain't Buddhists, they ain't Muslims. Let some of them zealots talk all that. And that's the work of the devil in it. And them farmers will sit there and look at you and look like you retarded. And they got to get to the field. Now, like I explained to the brother when we was riding up, you said this. I said, all farmers need a farming almanac. All right? And I was telling him, quick history, that Ben Franklin was the nation's farming almanac until Ben Bey got on the scene. And Ben Bey corrected Benjamin Franklin. So, I said, they need that because here's the key. When the farmers need the almanac because they need to know the placing of the moon and what sign it's in. And through the month, the sign in the astrology, they may give it to you. So you may have heard the term void of course. So that means if it's Taurus and it's going to go into Gemini, which is the next sign, there's a void that the moon is not in either sign. That's what they mean by void of course. Alright? So, this is the basic truth. Because I used to get people this when I was in college back in the early 90s. They'd be like, oh, you believe in that? Because you could always see me. I had my fez on, I had my turban on, or I had my tarabouche. And for some reason, I would always get in conversations with everyone. And we got on the subject of astrology. And it's like, yo, you believe in that? I don't believe. I said, it's not a word of belief. I said, it's an actual science. I said, so if you're telling me you don't believe in it, I said, well, what was that Rolex you got on? Yeah, come up off that. Give me that watch. Because your watch is based off of the time of moving in the 12 zodiac. That's what you're saying. I said, you're sounding foolish. So now when you go back to my analogy with the daggone farmers, and we just established that they're Christians. So you can't get that it's the devil's work. The devil ain't had nothing to make in this planet. The devil ain't had nothing to do with the sun, which is the most noblest image of the Creator. And they got you thinking your Moors who was here, the Incas and the Mayas and all that, they were nothing but the Moors and different versions of the Moors, the Yulis and all, talking about they were sun worshippers, they were pagans. That sun gives life. And like Prophet Jarli has in the Circle 7 Quran, what the most noblest image to ever have, if you want to try to encompass or get an image of God, is the sun. You didn't worship the sun, you just gave homage to it. And we are sun drinkers. It darkened your melanin, opened your third eye. You did a whole lot of other stuff. I digress. So now, this is what the farmer needed to know. If the moons are in either of these two element signs, what are your fire signs? That's your Aries, Leo. I'm just putting initials for hate stuff. And your Sagittarius. If your moon is in any of these fire signs, no matter what you do, you got a great green thumb. Even if you go to the store and go buy all the miracle grows that you want and stick them in that earth and try to make that, you put that seed there, it will not grow. It won't. Because the energy, the fire energy is really prevalent in the earth. It won't grow. Don't believe me? Do the experiment. I'll tell you, remind me after I say all this, with me with the olive seed. Tell me. Remind me with the avocado seed. Remind me about this. So anyway, so now, so if the moon is also in the air sign, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Again, no matter whatever they do, you can make it so fertile. Hell, you can go get the horse and make them poop directly on the thing. That's just, if you didn't know, a lot of your fertilizer is our stuff. Jersey, we getting it bad. I just seen a documentary. You want to know what they do with the sewage? They recycle that stuff and they put it in all the daggone as fertilizer in other farms and stuff. And it's people's sewage. I digress. Anyway, yeah, pull the stuff up. I don't want to get into that because it'll throw me off. So, but if your moon is in any of these two elements, the seeds will not grow. So now, these are the positive. So now the farmer has to see if it's in any of the earth signs, which is your Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Alright? Each will grow. Matter of fact, then you put it in there, it could be dry as I don't know what. The seed will germinate. Same thing if he finds the moon is in the earth, in the water sign. What are your water signs? The Cancer, Scorpio, and your Pisces. So now you basically understand why you go to the farmers, you go to like the, what is that, the Home Depot and all that, and they have to check out where they have magazines. A lot of farmers go there, and they get equipment and stuff, and they make sure they have the farmer's almanac. Now you understand why the farmer needs a farmer's almanac. Because remember, I was just telling the brother while we was driving, we had a good talk. And I was telling him, I said, them farmers can't play. Their life is caught up in that stuff. They gotta harvest that stuff. Let them, it would cost them, they would lose their whole farm, they would lose their whole house. If they sit there, you know what, that is the work of the devil. Oh my goodness, thank you for saving my life. Now let me go ahead and go till this thing. And they don't pay attention to that. You know, when it's harvest time, they're $20,000 in debt, and they're supposed to be able to pay that. And they ain't got the money. Because sometimes they got to borrow to get the tractors if they don't own it. They may get a loan for the seeds and all that, but all that gets paid up. Because they get it when they're harvest time and all that. So, and guess what? If that time does come, when it's September, October and all that, guess who the only person they can blame? They're like, gosh, darn it, I shouldn't have listened to that Christian bootleg person. They messed me up. Let me go get my dad going. Well, I'm going to get my farmer's almanac. I don't forget that. Matter of fact, I think I might become a master Muslim, Moorish American. Boom, shoot. I don't mess me up because they can't afford it. They can't afford it. They need the farmer's almanac to know. And I'm just breaking it down to you basically, Moors. All right? But they also have what they call a witch's almanac, and it almost does the same thing. It tells you the placing of the whole year of where the moon is in. And again, basically know whenever the moon is in a sign, just taking 1 month, it basically stays almost 2.5 or maybe 3 days in that sign. And then there's a little quick void, of course, and then it goes to the other. So by the time you get to the end of the month, it done went through all the 12 signs. So when the farmer goes out in his field or her field, they are under pressure and limited time. They can't afford it. You know what I mean? So let me talk about that because it links to astrology. And again, the piece that I told you, and I'm being polite with this because I don't want to overstep my bounds, but you sisters do need a sister. And we got to really start getting some elder sisters, those who's not hitting the grade, but they will give you your lessons that y'all need without being caught up in ego. And then so you can understand and you can embrace when the time, because that's your most pure time. If you didn't know, that's when you become a virgin again, if no one told you that. Your body's going through purification, and all you're doing is basically feeling the turning of the planets within the womb. Why do you think, when you look at your symbol, why do you think when you look at your symbol, y'all Muslims, why do you think your symbol is this? This is a symbolic of your old story, your analogy story.
Venus.
Yeah, you see that. The old symbolic story of Isis and Horus. Or in short, I'll just say it. Mother and child. Alright? And the story that y'all are familiar goes generally with this book. It's the Bible. It's the Bible. It's just the sign of the Bible, but it's the
Sign of
Bible.
the Bible.
Yeah. So, but the point I'm saying, what's the story that you all basically associate with this? Is the story of who? Prophet Emmanuel and his mom, Miriam. But what a lot of people don't know, it was based off of this one, which was thousands of years before Mary and Jesus' story. Nobody don't want to talk about that. But my key thing is I'm saying this, I'm directing you to this, which I'm sticking. I want you sisters to understand this. You are magnetic. Alright? That's what the crescent represents. You sisters, you're magnetic. You draw things to you. Once you in your right consciousness, you can bring anything to you. Notice, I think I brought this up before, but I'm going to bring it again. It's relevant to this. No matter how much you have all these religious organizations, but it's good to start seeing sisters shine. But they always say you sisters are what? You're the backbone of the organization. So when you, this was on one of the bootleg Jack preachers. Yes, we're going to do this. We're going to have a whole big congregation. And before I know it, and we're going to put this together. We're going to put the committee together. Now let's get those sisters and the others, the elders, and who the main, they are backbone and the main one, they make it work. Because you're not only putting your physical energy in this, you're using your elemental spiritual energy too, and magnetic to bring it to you. So now I'm going back to what I told you again when you do your prayer, in your hands. So if you don't believe me, you got a sister that's a good sister, she's easy to start, she'll tell you, yeah, this is how you do ritually do the prayer together. You're magnetic, so you're bringing the energy. So when you're feeling, like I told you, in your womb, you're going through your process, you're feeling the elements turning, that's the most potent time you do any ritual, spiritual work, and you'll be practically manifesting. Especially when you get the more sisters together. Remember I told you about the story on up there between the New York and Canada, Canaan land, and I told you that Niagara Falls was called Nigger Falls. The Europeans called it Nigger Falls, but that was really a Moorish retreat. I haven't got the actual name that our ancestors called it, but that was a Moina retreat for you Moinas, for you Moorish sisters. And it was over a good 30 to 50,000 of you that the Europeans beheaded when they went to you on your retreat, because you need water. When you do your relaxation, your meditation, running water is great for you. All right, and Europeans, of course, brought us in, and they found your sacred land area, and you ain't had no men to protect you, and the Europeans had no problem beheading all you, and then they called it Nigger Falls, and then just put a variant on it called it Niagara Falls, but that's how it got that name. But I digress. My main point is me saying to you, so when you feel that, that's the time you deal with that pain, but you fellowship with your sisters and say, girl, girl, nah, man, this. You know how it is to trust. You are the magnet. You are magnetic. You draw stuff to you. Now, brothers, you are the star. We are electricity. All right? We are electric. So we expound energy. Put that on a simpler term. You man or woman, horizontal mambo, you want to give, so you expound. The woman's magnetic, she receives, so she's magnetic. So remember now, in order for her to make the baby, she's got to pull all four elements to formulate the cherub in the womb. Then I just had the example of the different four elements, and I said it's just as well as that applies to the earth, it applies to you. Now is it clicking in your mind when Clarence X 13 stepped over and tried to make a broke version of the Nation of Islam? I shouldn't say this, but anyway, they call the sisters the earths and the guys the gods and the earths. Now is it clicking? Why they call the sisters the earths? But they was using the knowledge that they gleaned from the Nation of Islam, when the Nation of Islam gleaned from the Moorish Temple. And then they said they call themselves 5%ers. So they, with a certain 85% of people are ignorant, dumb, blind, whatever, and and only 5% rule and know the knowledge and whatever. It's like also 5%. But the reason why they were calling the sisters herbs, I'm trying to give you the basics of that so you can understand. Because the brothers, yeah, we can be successful without those sisters too, but we really can't move too forward without you. And if the sisters on point, oh my gosh, that's why I tell you, you're dealing with men and women, they'll bring men and women, but you start getting you sisters, going past to just being queens, and that's cool. But right now, we need to get back to what we used to be as Lemurians. Like I said, you get on the consciousness of she's a goddess, you gods, you're going to bring them forth. That's the highest level. You know what I mean? If you ask somebody to bring boys and girls, all right, then the next level is men and women. And then they always thought the highest was you bring forth kings and queens. And they all right, even the kings and queens recognize there's gods over them. And a lot of them will tell you their motto is they derive their royal power from God. It's given to them. That's the way they interpret it. But you knew that. So, but yeah, keep that in your mind. And I'm glad a lot of you do research. Find an Eastern Star sister, or maybe an Elder Moor, and the Elder Moorish woman, a Moina woman, and they will give you more than what I'm saying. So then you will also understand, like the sister prepared food, part of our Moorish culture, and this was where Sister Atakia Bey, the living widow, the elder that taught us, when you cook, she was always saying, when you stir, you don't stir away, you stir to the heart. And you intentionally put love in your food. So you focus and you put love in your food. And it's many people that experience, whether it's the temple or in their church, and they have one sister that was always a pain, but also always want to fix somebody's food. And then you have a lovely sister like her, she fixed food or now. And then they have the same food sitting on the table, but the sister always was the one that was the outcast. Yeah, eat my food, eat my macaroni and cheese, and everybody gets sick and everything, but then the other person is another macaroni and cheese, it's gone. And everybody good. Why? Because the other person was a pleasant person, and they knew your Moorish science. You call it Moorish science, but your Lemurian science. When you cook, it's not you just cooking, it's a science to it. Like in a lab, you also put your love energy into your food. This is, again, I'm going back to why they say the mother, you are the backbone of the family, because you cook the food. So the mother knew she not only cooking the food, she also got to provide love from her vibration of our heart. So it was a science in it. Family pray together, stay together, family eat together. But these are the basic principles that your sisters do. So I don't want to keep touching on that, because it's not, I don't want to say so much not my rightful place, but it's good. You understand what I'm saying? There's, the sisters can really go into it. I wish the Sister Betty Shabazz was alive. I got to hold a notebook that was kind of like yours. I'm going to show you all after class. It's in my phone. Brother Jamal Richardson Bey, he's the director that was working on a film regarding my documentary on me, hip hop, and my contribution. And he flew us down to his house back in late 2012. And his family was mainly a part of Nation of Islam. And he pulled out a lot of relics and stuff. Well, one of the notebooks was his mom. And he said his mom was the original sister that taught the sisters. So while he digging in the boxes and stuff and talking to my cousin Dawood, I'm looking through the book and I'm flipping. And I said, yo, brother, yo, dude, look. Betty Shabazz's signature was in the book. He said his mom must have loaned it to her one day. She obviously didn't have a book, so she loaned it. But he didn't even know the signature was in it. He's like, wow. He's like, I said, dang. I'm like, we're looking at it. And then he's showing me proof that him and his family was cool with Malcolm also. I got pictures. He made me promise I can't send it to nobody, so I have to show y'all. I had to get back with him. But I had in my hand actual postal cards from Egypt that Malcolm sent them. You know what I mean? To the family. He kept it. You know what I mean? So, but I don't want to go into that. I just wanted to go more into the astrology science and then what you're saying about you waking up again, that means you're obviously doing something right spiritually for you to be that sensitive. Alright, I know I had told y'all Moors months ago. I said get yourself an oil, and if it's too strong, get something light, like the Egyptian musk, but bless it. And I always tell you to rub it on the third eye in your temple, because what it do, it'll open your third eye. And I said, please, if you do that for a year. Do it for a year straight. And before it's up, you'll feel the difference, because what will happen is some will describe it. It depends on how much you read and you grab spiritual stuff. Some persons will tell you. They would liken it to like a little ant that's on your forehead, or like I told y'all before, you know how sometimes you go into old places and you know how it feels when you walk through a spider web going like this. That's what it's going to feel. One day you're going to be just sitting here talking, just like this, you're talking, and all of a sudden you're going, and you're not realizing your third eye is starting to move. Because you got to go through the process of so-called calcifying. But again, I know these are kind of simple, something to the point. I try to make it really simple and to the point so you can understand. All right, now I want to get into the infinite wisdom. Because I want to stay on schedule, because I know I always get to things like that. Oh, also remind me about the avocado seed. What happened was this. I always loved I had plants and stuff like that in my little apartment. And I just love doing this. And this is when I wasn't even being much aware of the, like I just told you about the elements of the moon. So this is the 90s. So I was always good at eating oranges and lemons, and then I go to my plant and I just drop them in. And through the years, I never paid much attention, but then as we were teaching and we were doing the science, and I started realizing some of the oranges and lemons will grow. But they would only grow so high on my big plant that the plant was in. So anyway, I figured I had a little green thumb like that. When we had we lived with Dad, he raised furniture, so the house was always funky, and he had a big window kind of like that, but he had it covered with plants. So the plants would kind of be almost like a curtain, if you will. And so I kind of got that from Daddy. So I had a big pot, and I got an avocado, and I said, I want to plant this bad boy. And me and my fiance, we were together then. We broke off the early part of 2000, but we were together, we'll say from 95 to 2000, so let's say 98 or so that was 20 years ago. So that 3 years, I never did nothing with the pot. I just kept putting water in, and it wouldn't grow. It just wouldn't grow. And especially when we was together, and I was always good with plants. Sometimes we go by and I buy some little plants. So finally, during the time, and also know that whenever you go through good and bad in your life, it's always for a reason. There's always a purpose. And usually when you break up, it's almost like a morning. So I was going through my morning, and looking at the plant, it didn't grow. And since it's been in that soil for those few years, I took it out and then put it back in. Now then I didn't get into, now this is damn near 2001 now, all right? Knowing darn well I had got the astrology classes from that kid in 91, 92 when we were all going to the class. So I ain't paying much attention to it. So that same seed, I just moved the soil around and just decided to, almost get rid of it, but I said, and put it back in. Now, this is during the time that my fiance and I broke off, and she left, and spot and all stuff. Just thing it started growing. And I was saying to myself, all those years the seed was in that pot, and it didn't do anything. So now I got it growing. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I'm planting, putting water on it, and what's the name? Still healing my heart. Oh, broken heart, woe with me, all that stuff. You know, and before I knew it, we'll say if the pot was on the floor, which I did have it on the floor, it grew as high as this podium. So I looked at it as a spiritual lesson. For one, obviously I had to love self, but that's like I said, you go through things, you have to love self in order to love someone else. And then two, obviously I inadvertently, the little lesson I gave you all, so you can understand, like I said, I don't know the intricacies, and I know some of you probably know the other people that did astrology classes here, but I'm trying to make it comparable so you can just get it in layman's terms. So then I obviously then replanted it when the moon was most likely in a earth water sign. And it grew. Like I said, it had sat in that pot for over 2 years at least. And I was watering it and caring for it with the other plants. So that's the other thing I would say. So let me get back to my theme here when I'm saying the wise and the ignorant. This will be the actual scripture from the infinite wisdom. And of course, I want to have my theme here, like I said, I read from the circle 7, because I'm directing this to those who claim they have this knowledge and claim they, want to protect the prophet or they teaching our people. But remember, you have individuals who don't have the insight to recognize when they have someone so-called teaching them, if he or she has their moral compass in place. All right? That's another thing I want to get into. Because I don't mention it much, and you've heard me say it. I'm also a Sheller in the Great White Brotherhood. And I want to go into this real quick later. It's the moral compass. This is one of the lessons we got from the Great White Brotherhood. Now, me bringing this up about the wise and the ignorant, again, as I said earlier, you have individuals that's pretending to be wise men or women, and then yet, if you indulge and ask the right questions, you'll find that they're fools. Because truly, first thing a wise man or woman will say is, when you ask them certain things, and they want to know, when you tell you really don't know nothing. And I just make you aware. And the more that you think you know, the more you know you really don't know. Please refer to the first matrix and you really get what I'm saying. So remember I said to you that old adage, that old saying, the wise man can play the fool, but the fool can never play the wise man. That's an old adage, man. Well, I want y'all to take this into account and take this and apply this to the individuals who's outside my father, myself, the very few who are on the front lines who's giving you this in a truthful way and not trying to get over on you, but trying to open you up. Because our motto is, we don't want to teach you to be followers. We're teaching you to be leaders, to be teachers. That's a different vibration when you're dealing with an individual who's your teacher or a person who's just pointing your way and they're not making you be a student. Because here's the thing. Yeah, you may be in the student phase, but what we're saying is our ultimate goal is you to be a teacher. It's no different than you going to high school. Those who would get it, knowing, you're doing your 4 years in high school and that teacher behind there, the only thing that he or she got over is because they took 4 more years past what you got, and they got a bachelor or bachelorette degree, or went further and got a master's or a PhD. Not saying that you can't do the same. This is why I said in my philosophy, I told my mother, Madam Minister, and niece, my mother, my biological mother. Of course, you already know the history of my father and my mother was in the nation of Islam, was born baby. But daddy went to the source. And I followed as his son. But what my mother did is wind up doing what many of the women do, only got into a religion or whatever just because your husband and they go right back to their slave master's cult. So I said this years ago because I gave her the gift of the Aquarian Gospel and the Lost Books of the Bible, Forbidden Book of Eden. as birthday gifts. And they were sitting on the shelf. And I'm like, you know, you in the church. I said, Mom, I said, that's like you going to high school and never graduating. I said, after a while, like I just said to you simply earlier before me saying this, I said, you're supposed to do your 4 years, graduate. Then you're supposed to take yourself to a university, if you were a universal school, the universe, and then go do 4 years and go get the same degree as your reverend, and then you're supposed to be qualified to be behind that podium. I said, what y'all don't understand, you can get people that start out as young as that baby and wind up being as old as us and older and go to the grave, and that's like we teased Fred Perry, who played Rerun, on What's Happening. The reason why he had the name Rerun was he did his grade over so many times. I said, that is the worst rerun. You done went to that church since you was a young child, now you're an old person, you're a grandparent, and you still a parishioner in that church? I said, the true man or woman of God will make sure you get on their level. This is why I love Prophet Emmanuel. This is why I love Prophet Joali, Prophet of Sardis, Prophet Muhammad. But we'll stick with Prophet Emmanuel. Prophet Emmanuel, what did he do? He went and had 12 disciples. Gave them the high science like he did. He wanted to make them teachers. And not saying the regular people he didn't keep it from them, but he also knew he is no different than what you Moors are dealing with. He was dealing with the iron hand of person in Rome. And then what? You had ages among you. So now he had to talk in veiled allegory, but he thinly veiled it, but still gave you truth. Why? Because he knew some people would ask some questions that would be baited questions to try to hook him up and get him tied up. And you know, he getting arrested. And I hate to hear people saying, oh, he had come here and died for your sin. Stop lying. I'll pray some other words, because I take my job serious as a priest. But if he so-called wanted to die so much, why did he dodge the daggone Roman soldiers the first time? He used your science that I'm trying to give y'all the basics of. He used Maya, and he was invisible, undiscernible, and he walked right by the Roman soldiers. But my point is, he was teaching the people the truth that really free themselves. And here's the point too, that I tell people about healing. And I also told my mother, I was sitting on the subject of my mother. I said, you notice every time he healed someone, he always said, be ye healed and sin no more. Sin no more, be ye healed. And you don't understand that. A lot of our problems we have is usually it's our thoughts. But that's the main reason why I go into Maya. I know it's time, but also, you know, and I'm giving you here and there piecemeal, but also, you know, anyway, no class or no subject can't be told in no one session. Some of you get the benefit because you call me during the time in between, so we'll go a little bit further and stuff, but nonetheless, if you're a true wise man or woman, you know I can't tell you everything in no one session, even if y'all had me every week. So, but anyway, I'm trying to give you the tools so you can understand your thoughts is very powerful. That is the main message in the Holy Corvette. And after I get done reading this one, the Holy Corvette, and then I'm going to focus in on the makeup or hypnosis. And I keep giving you tools so you can understand. And then when you really get the gist of it, you can do variants of it. You might be really very much needing it. Like I told you how you operated you in court, and you can sway. That person to say yes, 5 things, get them to agree, or get them to do things, and so you know, it's really called pacing and leading. But I try to keep it on the layman's term to get you, but I digress on my point of this. That again, focus on Prophet Emmanuel, saying how he had 12 disciples, and he was doing what we're saying, what my father's objective was and is. We're trying to teach you to be teachers. Same thing with Sage Darrell Thomas Bey, God rest his soul. He was a student of Sage James Johnson Bey, and him, that elder, was a direct student of Caliph Charles Wesley Beck. They would say, we're trying to teach you to be teachers, not followers. Because you got a lot of followers. And then what makes it so bad is because you also didn't get certain tools that you wind up getting individuals that have this knowledge, or they glean this knowledge, and they got a serpent's tongue, and their heart is dirty, and then you got somebody getting in your pockets, you got them run a game, and then they want to go get a cult thing, go on the islands, they taking all the women, the guys, women, and stuff, and they wind up ain't really being what it's supposed to be, and people come back one by one, and he's taking all women and doing nasty stuff with them, and it ain't nothing religious, so the rest of that. But my point is, like I said, I told my man of ministry, I said, look, what you do, if you truly love Prophet Emmanuel, there are other books out there, and his 18 years teachings is out there, and he traveled to Egypt, India, and Greece, and of course you Moors know he also traveled here. And for what some of the elders told us in Jersey, because a lot of us speak here in Delaware, in Jersey there's a main strip of street, and it's old, we heard, and they call it King's Highway. And one of the elders said that was named that because that was one of the main routes that Prophet Emmanuel used to walk on the shores. But that should surprise us. So I also encourage you all, please do your research, get a Mormon's Bible. Know that the Mormons found your scriptures up in upper state of PA, upper eastern part, and Europeans, I think named John Smith, and the history is kind of wacky, but he found gold tablets. He was claiming to be guided by an angel Moroni, and I hate to say this because there's going to be a crackpot section in the mind where the only way he interpreted, he looked into a hat and he taught and interpreted. But I don't want to go into that, but I don't want to say. But nonetheless, that's another Bible, and I think you should get it because it's actually giving you history of some of the things that Prophet Emmanuel did here in what we call Mogia, then changed to Maxim, and now you call America. Right? What was the name? The Mormon Bible.
No, I'm saying the name. You said original name before Maxim.
Mogia. All right. Yeah. I will be trying to go through. I'll pace myself a little bit quicker. Read the scripture, then I'm going to go into the Holy Quebec and get some more history, like I said, of Atlantis. But like I said to y'all before, the original name, when you landed on this planet, your ancestors, your Lemurian ancestors, named this continent Amogia. Alright? And to the west of us, off the Pacific of Cali, you name that Lemuria. Now, what is not discussed, we're going to go on another time, but I don't want to deviate so much because you're asking. I'm just going to give you geographical stuff, because I know I've mentioned this before, but it's good. I'll just keep repeating. You already know, you're aware Lemuria sunk, just as well as Atlantis. So the Hawaiian Islands, and y'all see what's going on now. Have y'all been following the volcano?
Yes.
Well, those are the last remnants of Lemuria. Those are what you call Hawaiian Islands, and what they call Easter Island, but the original name, us native Moors call it Rapi Nui. Rapi Nui. Alright? And of course, you know, the landmass that used to be in what we call the Harua Ocean, you had Atlantis. And this is why what we call on the east coast of us, here on the east coast, I know you're all around, we call it the Atlantic Ocean. We named it after this sunk in honor of Atlantis. Right? And I always tell y'all, Moors, please try to get the movie. Let's see, I think the brother was supposed to come tonight, Brother Osiris. Atlantis, the lost continent. I keep bringing that up. And I said that these people who did that movie had to have had their hands on the Holy Quebec and other scriptures that go into your history, because they show that you was highly technological and you know, in technology and stuff. You know what I mean? But like I said, you know, don't think it's all far-fetched. If I told you you came on the mothership, a lot of you are Trekkies. I didn't get into the Star Trek thing until later, once I got initiated as a priest, you know, and I converted back in '95. And I'm reading the Holy Quebec. I'm like, oh, now this makes sense. I'm like, oh, and then all this stuff I was getting from the elders, they would say, you know, truth is stranger than fiction. And then when Sage out Thomas Day, God rest his soul, he said, look at the Johnny Quest cartoon and all, and he said, man, look who is the consultant, man. You look at when the credit goes off, it says NASA. You know what I mean? So they were divulging a lot of truths. So, but yeah, he said that truth is stranger than fiction, and a lot of things that are given to you, they piecemeal it here and there, but they never said how they had to dispense the truth. So then now we see why Ray Bradbury and all those other great directors that these people go on to was making the Star Trek and then Battlestar Galactica, and then but now they revitalized that franchise. And anybody's a Star Trekkie, they always quote Captain Kirk saying, generally, I can't quote the words verbatim, that they go to different civilizations and all they do is observe, but they can't, they can't interfere with their development, and they damn sure can't do, what they say, like leave tech. This is my bag, my laptop, and they damn sure can't go and then leave a laptop or something, and then it might, they come back, they, mess with their development. There's a video, I seen the thumbnail, I didn't watch it, I don't remember the title, but they had pulled out a watch as small as a ring. They went in one of them excavating old digs, and they're like, oh my God, but see, remember now, that's Europeans. Remember, they the one who messed up history. See, and they done told you clock the destiny, you Moors. That's what makes you different from everybody else out here. And I'm already telling you, the Lamb had kept telling everybody. Elijah Muhammad said the Asiatic man has no birth records. And then he always kept mentioning the mothership. He would always say the mothership. The mothership. Nobody was saying that. So now I'm seeing this stuff. I'm like, ooh. And then I already knew where he got his teachings from. And then now me looking at my Holy Corvette and now looking at Star Trek and everything, I'm like, it makes sense. Because then when you got a whole colony. Matter of fact, I had just pulled out my other series. There's only one season in the 2000s, and then they went 2 to 3 years later and made a movie called Serenity, Firefly. It was kind of like a space cowboy type of thing, and they go to different planets, and they were basically pirates. And some planets was overdeveloped, and they had the big alliance, and the big alliances, big federations. They had real development countries or planets, shall we say. So for them to even do that fictional type of movie again, like I said, they base this off of your technology. Remember, I keep saying to you, why the hell you think they had Area 51? It ain't only just aliens. They are uncovering your technology and stuff that was common, but it got lost. The Europeans burnt and knocked your history back. CMA said they damn near messed up your history 500 years or so. They threw everything off. And even going back to the show Firefly, like I said, because I got the whole first season, and then I got the movie Serenity. So I played it all and I enjoyed it because they had one of the Moorish honeys. Matter of fact, she was Lawrence Fishburne's woman. She kind of reminded me of my oldest biological baby girl, Gina Torres. She played Zoe. She played the second in command. She was bad. So they had the actual technology that I told you in a Holy Corvette. They said we had what you call vehicles, but they moved along on a cushion of air. Well, damn if they had that in the Firefly movie on TV show. The last episode, then you had to watch the Firefly. It was good. You got to see it. But they had that in it. You know, even though it was a Western type of thing, I'll tell you the episode. The episode, they were asked to help some women of a brothel, cherub, a little baby cherub. And so one of the girls was having a baby by the richest man there, and his wife didn't have no baby, so he's going to take the baby from one of the girls he had a night with. And so these women wanted to defend themselves, so they called Mal, who was got his European guy name, and Zoe, who was, like I said, Gina Torres, and a couple of people that was part of the crew. One of the Bowman brothers was on the movie, and they went to go help. So the rich guy, of course, he had his henchmen. They were on horses. Well, guess what he was driving? He was driving a Devon. Like I told you in our Holy Corvette, they tell you we had that technology. And so I'm watching this man driving a silver thing, and it's on pushing the air. But you got to see the movie to understand what I'm saying. So, but like I said, my point what I lead to is that don't get caught up with these Europeans when they talk about they discovered this and what have you like that. Like I said, you might find, if y'all decide to research, you'll find a thumbnail on YouTube where they have a little gold thing no bigger than my ring, and they said it was a I don't know if they said swish, but they realized it was a watch. And then you already know that's the symbol of your feathers on your heads or your turbans. You already know you ain't getting. It don't faze me none. I know the deal. So when you say you're a Moor, you not only saying that, hey, I am a master mason, I am a master Magi, really. You know, we're going to take it past your people. Like I told you, Freemasonry is just reinventing our Hittite faith, or they call us the Magi. So you might as well reclaim what is yours. You're saying you also know the history. You're aware of the old technology. Because why? Ain't nothing new under the sun, but only that which was hidden. Remember that saying. So like I said, why do you think they got Area 51? They always uncovering your stuff. Y'all remember the time I had the sermon class and I told you how there was a European guy, I'm still trying to find that radio interview. And I said it was some geek guys that had got this man who would be equivalent. Matter of fact, if I remember right, I think he even said, he referred to X-File show and said, well, you know the Smoking Man? Because you know the Smoking Man ain't had no name. He said, that's me. And then he proceeded, of course he ain't given a name, but he proceeded to give them his clearance. And one of the cats that was on the blog radio show that really did his research in the UFO stuff actually said, yeah, he's higher than what I'm aware of, so yeah, he is the deal. The European man said, y'all got me for an hour, ask me anything and I'll tell you. And they said, we gotta wake up. We got our stuff in the hands of Europeans, so they doing that dumb geek-ish. Yeah, so what was the measurements? Was it 24 feet by 60 feet of the room and the alloy metal and this and that? And he finally said something to the lines of, if y'all ever know me personally, y'all be like, oh man, I get raw. I'm hollering at my thing, you dumb behinds, why ain't you asking this? Why y'all keep bringing stuff up? Darn it, this man sat there and did the same thing. He darn near went off. You dumb behind, you got me to ask me anything and you're asking me dumb stuff. I said you got me here. I can answer these questions that you want, and you're asking me the measurement of this, the spaceship and whatever. I can give you other stuff. Then he went into saying, let me tell you something, because I think religion came up. You said, let me tell you who I am. He said, I have clearance above the president. The president and them don't even know who I am. He said, I am the man who find religious scriptures and stuff that y'all don't know nothing about, that will turn your religions on your head. I'm the one who hides it. And he wanted to say more, but he was asking them to ask him. He'll tell you. He said, you got me. He just couldn't give him his name, but he gave him the clearance and stuff. But I was so happy. I was like, oh, he might, like say, he my dog. I was like, dumb behind, you got me. You can ask me anything, and you asking me some measurement in this spaceship and this, that, what have you. But when he said, I'm the one who hide artifacts and stuff that y'all know nothing about, that will turn your religions on your head, and we already know what he means we're religious, and y'all need to call it for what it is. I told y'all the history of us. We told you about Christianity. Our ancestors were warned by the angels 2,000 to 3,000 years prior. The angels said there's going to be a beast religion that's going to be known. Their symbol's going to be two sticks crossed, and they're going to believe in shedding blood. And they were talking about the Christian faith. So that's what he's talking about. And to back up what I'm saying on that, it's not insulting. It's not insulting to that member. Here's another reason why the Europeans are successful. This is why I keep telling people too, religious-wise. You keep giving the Christian faith spiritual energy. You're believing in their pale-skinned Brad Pitt Jesus and praying to it and giving it money with that blasphemous thing. And here, doesn't matter if the European faith is a cult. They are honoring their forefathers. That's why they're in power. Worship under your own vine and fig tree. So now, to back up what I am saying, do your research on their Pope. The Pope has a book that they call the index books. They will not let nobody else in the faith, but only that elected Pope gets to read that book. I found that information out, I think before, or was it after I got out of the service? I think it was after. Because Daddy was teaching me, and I was really thirsty for knowledge when I got out in '87. And I did what Father told me. I went and got old encyclopedia. And in this old encyclopedia, I happened to see the old Moroccan flag that had a black star on it. When the elders used to tell me, I gave it to my daughters in the late 90s. But anyway, and it was in that encyclopedia that I had found a little history. It said the index books, and it said it's a book that only the Pope can read and no one else can read, and it's rumored that the book has such damning information that it will topple the Christian faith. In so many words, but yeah. So that should tell you something. But you already know the truth. You're being warned. But just for the sake of you who are out there, don't get upset. Don't get all in your feelings and stuff. Feelings my interpretation. No. Take what I'm saying. Study it. Take notes. Know the truth. Why do you think they have secret societies? It's to keep this knowledge from the masses.
Yes, Mom.
All right. So I just wanted to, so you know, this was the original name because you asked me, and we're going to cover that. And then, of course, you know, later on it wind up being, Maxim. That's what Maxim. This is what the brother prophet Joali had revealed. When he came and taught people. But again, he always kept saying, the half hasn't been told. If I tell you everything, you go back to sleep. Like right now, and y'all see sometimes y'all gotta cut me because I'm still dropping. And I'm still biting my tongue on some things. And some of you can probably look at the camera and test it. Especially if y'all ask me some things. And I can even go real heavy. But then it'll be what we call overload. You don't want to do that. But that is a process that all humans go through. You understand what I'm saying? So now this is what I'm saying to you, why you must respect the secret fraternities and it have certain things done in degrees. Because if something giving you too fast and stuff, it's almost like, it's like this. And you sisters, women church, you can attest to this. When you have a baby, you have that baby 10 years old. Now, going back 10 years ago, 9 years ago and a half, that baby was not eating solid food. What had to happen? She had to have herself pureed. So it's kind of like that. And this is why Prophet had put the Circle 7 the way he did. He had a chapter of Holy Instructions for the children. Because you're all children. No matter how old you are, I'm 51. But I'm still a child. I recognize I'm a wise man. I can tell you, wise men and women know they don't know nothing. And the sign of a wise man and woman, if they don't know something, they shut the heck up and they just take notes. Especially if it's a subject you know nothing of. And if you want to dispel it, then you took your notes, you go ahead and do your research. So then when you come back into that cipher with that person that dropped that knowledge, if you did your due diligence, then you can go toe to toe. You can prove them wrong or you can verify what they were saying. That's the sign of a wise man and woman. Well, like I told people, this was taught in secret orders. You have 2 years and 1 out. You'll know the sign of a fool. Because when somebody's teaching, the fool is doing what? Yeah, and the person's trying to teach and they talk, yeah, And one smart student that's right alongside him says, look, dude, you ain't going to learn if you keep sitting here talking. You got to shut up. Yeah, but I know that. Well, shut up if you do. And most likely they don't. And if you really want to test them, no problem. You want to be an ego, all right, fine, get up here. See how quick. Well, start doing Nubby Professor. Well, see, it was See, this is Mogi, and I just don't know. I think I better sit down. Yeah, I'm gonna sit your boo-boo behind that. Just giving you signs, and now as a collective, it's no different than when I was telling y'all before for months now. The signs of somebody's a good teacher and then someone who's negative, y'all go into numbers, you shut these individuals down. Because then it gets to the point you can't blame that negative person no more. You got to blame the people, because if you know he negative or she negative, why are you supporting him? That lets me know, like I told you, I was saying, my father taught me, water finds its level. Or like I told y'all, you're dealing with people that have moral compasses. So if their leaders' moral compass is broke, then that's why they vibrate with that individual. So then you know you got to leave them alone. Nothing personal. Leave them alone. Because a true man or woman that is studying, they're trying to cut off their dross, meaning their negative self. Like I outed myself earlier, told y'all, and I'm trying to better myself, and then I don't associate with that type of party. Because why? That's not me. It's kind of like he was an old person that may have smoked some weed, something, and may have did something a little heavy, but then you got into this and you cleaned yourself up. You not only nationalized, clean your name up and all that, you cleaned your body up. But you got some people that actually wind up now are herbs experts. They know how to detox the body and everything, and they ain't seen a friend for 15 years. All of a sudden, it's like you walking down the street. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, man, what's up? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Hey. Let me out the money. You know what I mean? What's up, man? You're like, yeah, all right, I'm cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, and notice this is truth. You meet somebody from your old life, and you ain't about it. After the first 5 minutes, after you say hi and bye, mainly hi, it ain't nothing much to talk about.
Right.
Now let me go back to my little scenario. So yeah, man. Yeah, so how's mom? Yeah, man. Oh, she's doing good. She asked about you good 10 years ago. So yeah, I mean, bye, man. You got $5, man. You can go ahead and go get high. So me like, no, man, I don't do that anymore. You know what? Jesus is calling me. I get back. It's nothing personal. Because why? It's good seeing your old friend, but it's not, because you've seen it. You moved on, but your friend did. And like I said, after 5 minutes, ain't nothing else to talk about. It's going to lead to what he's really into, and it's going to lead to what you're into. Now, if he's receptive, guess what's going to happen? Now you're going to give him what you're into. Yo, brother, you need to clean yourself up. You know what, man? I think I did here. Man, you know what I mean? I think I wanted to be all cleaned up and all, you know, because you got that, you know, I heard about that stuff, man. And you know, I'm itching all over, man. I had some bad stuff, man, but I'm really trying to clean up. You're like, all right, now, if you're sincere, I'll help you out. And once in a while, you may get somebody sincere, so you know, about a year later, they're thanking you for that one encounter. But my main thing is the reason why I say, if you worthy, you find me. But now I'm reading you. I ain't going to complain nobody no more. I ain't letting people get close to me. If you negative, I ain't going out to be negative. I'm not like that. You just ain't in my cipher. Because all holy men and women do that. Jesus came across some negative people, but did he, you know, no, get away, thou baby. No, he just, hey, all right, brother, man, all right, peace. And he stepped on him. And he just went to whoever he needed, because he's a peaceful man. You know, he's a man of God. You know what I mean? So, all I'm saying to you all, you come across negative individuals, just be peaceful, you know, and keep it moving. That's the way I am. Now I see you coming. And I'm going to start calling you out more, and I'm trying to give the best I can in this tool so these other Moors can see you, and then they can step. Like I said, you ain't got to put no hands on nobody, but if you step 50 deep with these negative individuals, you can shut them down. You don't have time for this. This is really important right now. What I told y'all, this is 20 years now. I'm a grandfather now. My motivation was I had children. My babies was already 8. It was my motivation. And I was like, I'm going to see my baby. I'm going to love it. And Lord bless me. I got 2 girls. And now, even though they're grown, I can still hug and kiss my babies. And now they grown. And now my oldest, she got babies. Now she getting ready to be a grandparent. And I told y'all 20 years ago, they were ready to give you a land of money. And I told y'all, it's not a thing of being like, wow, you know, they give you a land of money. No, I'm trying to tell you, we were obviously doing something right. I don't want to go too much into detail. Conversation that Dr. Nailah and I had just before started class, but we were talking about everybody talking about we need to unify, you need to, yeah, but you might be funny though, if you already got the daggone wheel, why reinvent it? Everybody act like they don't know how to solve the situation. Everybody want to be goddamn Indian chiefs, nobody want to be Indians. Let's stop playing, because this is what's going to happen. And I'm calling it. Yeah, I'm calling my PSA. You are now also getting this from the House of Reawakening Minds. I don't have the address in front of me, but make sure you all tune in and come here to Wilmington, Delaware. Now, you're going to also notice it's going to be a time when these babies are going to get to know the truth, and the fire you hear in my voice, they're going to be pissed, and they're going to start taking you out. They're going to piece you out. And I pray they're going to do it right. They're going to take the right ones out. And they're going to be pissed. Because why? You held this movement up. Because like I kept saying, I'm telling you, they were really, we were shocked. I was like, wow. And I got to meet another good elder, God rest his soul, Clifford Hazel Ezel, the 33rd degree and the 96th degree more that I told you, that also raised me and coronated me. He was the one that was meeting Fred Kleinek, that was the head of the Scottish Rite. He was the one that was trying to broker the deal. And he was like, they're ready to give you land and money. And it's so what they, like I'm telling you, the reason why they wanted to do this, because they seen what we were doing. And like I said to the sister, but I'm not going to put everything out there, she seen my date on my certificate. My Truth A1 AA 222 December 17th, 1992. This is when we got the knowledge and we were going through the process to, you might call renationalize, but to do the so-called registry on a national level beyond what the temple had failed. And I was telling the sister, all they knew on the political side that dealt with your jurisprudence was your Great Seal Association of Moorish Affairs. So all I'm saying is, this is a crucial time. You can't be playing games. If this man ain't playing, he keep turning the volume up. And why am I the only one explaining last year at this time, which made it prime and right for both the gods, as my man Professor Truth would say, the guy that's the head of the FBI in them, they sat there and had an in-house memorandum they sent in all the cops talking about some BIE. That's an insult and a great setback to us Moors. Because I said, when they call you black, they call you nigger. And we need to accept and challenge that on that level. And F any of you Asiatics is talking that black crap. How are you going to sit up there and say you're trying to be free and you were POWs, prisoners of war, but you keep saying slaves? Yeah, you were forced into servitude, but I digress on that one. But my point is, you went through the experience and you knew in that they called you all kind of derogatory names. You ain't never seen the children of the Holocaust come out. They went in as Jews, they went to the Holocaust. They got called all kind of derogatory names. I had to find out what the hell kike meant. That was an insult to the Ashkenazi. You ain't seen them come out of the Holocaust and talk about they kike people, and kike people get the respect and we need to have our rights and whatever. Why? Just you already alone, you Asiatics, you already sitting there and say, yeah, you won't. And you will probably laugh if they did. Why? So that's what I'm trying to tell you, how the world is looking at you Asiatics here, just calling yourselves black. And every decade you keep changing your name. Color, Negro, Afro-American.
Islam.
You know what I mean? And I told another cherub that you didn't know them Chinese and all them other people that come here, they get some of the benefit of your birthright. They get a 5 to 7 year tax break. Part of that is you want to be able to take pie in the sky and then white picket fence and all that. You just don't tell these dumb people that they Moors.
Right.
At a threat of you get sent back to your country. But it's that you were part of the conspiracy, then all right, we give you your 5 to 7 year tax exemption break. And I said, that's why you have even your own cousins. They come and say, you know, I'll come and set up my shop. And we could be millionaire with 5 year house. But the only thing they have to work, they have to act like the goddamn purge. The only thing, we have to batten down the hatchet. Am I right or wrong? All you raising your head, you ain't seen it, they going like this, they raising their head. Yeah, because you can be prosperous, you set up in the hood, but at the same time, it's like the damn purge. You gotta be able to survive the first down 5 years. Why? Because they'll sit there and rob you. You see what I'm saying? They kill someone, that's what Dr. Nailah said. You know what I mean? They rob you, they go in the store. Look what happened up there in New York, that little baby. You sat there and got stabbed in the store. Well, that's kind of different, but the point is, that don't happen in them suburbs. Once in a while, yeah, they get robbed, but let's be real. But what nobody ain't telling you, economically, well, you are a gold mine. Again, I trust you get the joke. So, if you can survive the purge, 5 years or so, you won't get paid. And it's soon after 5 years, that's 5 years. You're making that money, no taxes ain't taken out. And that's why they say after a while, now I can bring the rest of my family over. And they all live in one house. Before you know it, their little Toyota Corolla looked like a hoopty. Now I went for a Camry. And I went from a Camry to a Lexus. There's even a Mercedes. And then here's the other problem with your Asian brothers are dealing with. The Asiats are targeting them because they're being wealthy and they're coming to the hood and setting up their shops. And the niggas start following to the suburbs where their new houses is and they're robbing them. I seen one good video a couple of years ago. They messed with the wrong Chinese woman. Girl did an Clint Eastwood. They came breaking up in their house because the Chinese don't trust nobody. They take their money home. Then they do a little later, they put it in the bank. And they had an inside camera. It's on YouTube. And just came up in her house. And they obviously knew she was there. Girl was Jane Gunslinger and shot one of them niggas. He was running so fast, they said he ran through the screen door. He ran through there, but she got one of them and killed him. Shot him, and they tried to rob, but that's the new thing now. That's the new thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I ain't need to go on that tangent, but I'm just saying, I keep reiterating this, how serious this is, and we gotta stop this. This everybody want to be Indian chief, and nobody want to be Indians. It's got to stop. Because like I said, you could say something.
The more I study about our nationality and birthright, one of the things that continue to plague me is the continuation of waving a black flag. And I just wanted to continue to just dig more to see where the origin of that transpired from. And if our people knew that the black flag represent you being considered a pirate, and which means that you're a threat. And when you come upon, so in the laws of amity, when you come upon someone's ship or you in a process and your flag is black, they know that you're coming to take their loot. But what some pirates would do, they would disguise their flags. And they say, okay, if you have our black flags and you let us come onto your ship and take what we need to take, you know, we'll kind of reward you a little bit for that. But if you fight us and we turn our flag from black to red, we're not going to give you any mercy. So now when we have this caste system that they cast upon us, and you continue to you wave your black flag, you're seen as a threat upon arrival. And it's I yield the floor back.
I thank you for that, because that needs to be known. It's a little bit more, that needs to be known, and that is a little bit more in more history, but that does tie in. So it's good that you put that analogy there. I just didn't mean to go into that. I just wanted to mainly focus on my main agenda is those who claim to be wise and yet they're promoting ignorance. So that's now segueing our way into the infinite wisdom scripture. And I want those who never heard. Again, I was blessed to get this scripture. I had an elder relative, just a cousin. He was the grand governor in New Jersey, and his name was Ali Moore Gill. And he was the grand governor in our second temple that we became a member in Glassboro, New Jersey. And he retired 11 years ago. He moved down south. it's a little story behind it, but I don't want to go into it. But I just know I'm blessed. And the main thing I want to say to you again is me being a young brother, I was humble. And I respected the elders. And I knew to always give respect. And if possible, if I can, because I was in college, and you know, you scrounger. But I always try to bring something as a gift. So that's my lesson I say to you when y'all meet elders. Try to have a gift to give. That's showing great respect. Anyway, he finally opened up, and Brother Hannibal Moore, you know, he gave me and another brother access to the scripture. And usually when I tell this story, this wasn't the only book he told me, because he had it in his upper shelf of his bureau. And he said, go to that bureau and the top shelf, get that book, and you know, copy it. Boom, boom. This was in the early 90s. But here's the other part of the story. And it was a blessing for me. And sometimes when I think about it, I almost hide back a tear. He also said, if you see a blue burlap square piece of cloth, he said, pick that up. And I picked it up. And he said, there's an elder sister who was alive on Prophet Joali. Now, this is not all reincarnated, it's original Prophet Joali. He said he wound up traveling, and he wound up at this sister's house and spent the night. And so the blue, I don't want to say burlap, but the blue fabric was part of the blanket that he actually laid, and she kept it. So as she got up in age, she figured, let me share this with everybody. So Cousin Ali had said she decided to visit different temples around the nation and took the blanket with her and gave cut pieces to different people. She said she just didn't want it to be, you know, discarded or whatever. I guess, you know, after she passed, because that was another thing, and I'll tell you after I say this. And I'm glad she had did that, and I'm sitting here holding something peaceful, a piece that, you know, touched Prophet Joali, and I had tears in my eyes, like, wow. You know, and if y'all know the back history, Cousin Ali wasn't feeling me back then. You know what I mean? Because again, you know, he was one of what y'all would say temple more. And Daddy and I, we were what y'all see here. It wasn't like we didn't go to the temple, we would go. But we were doing like the prophet. We were doing like the true Freemason. We weren't sitting there being pious with all the jewels and stuff. We were literally going into, you know, sometimes I use the analogy of the graveyard. So we were the one going and literally getting the master's grip, and we out here in the street, we're raising you. And because we're raising you, we're also dropping stuff that they would consider added chamber knowledge that no one was giving no one, and they let go dormant. And before we know it, we're producing literature. And you're talking about nothing but jealousy. And it's like, y'all been in the temple all that time. Y'all had ample of time. Same thing with the people that was in the Ohio, Chicago area with all the clock of destiny stuff. They were bragging that, yeah, that's just skating circles of the apple. We got a lot of stuff to see in Vegas, this, and what have you. And I remember, and I ain't gonna say no name, one of the elders had said there was a sister that was bragging. She had a couple suitcases full of CMB original work, but she was his secretary. Now this is well over 25 years ago, so I'm telling you conversation we had on the phone. So I'm like, brother, I'll try to put a daggone fund together, we put money together, and just talk to her and say, yo, you ain't got to give us a bit. Just tell her to ask her and have a day. You take her at least one of her suitcases, and y'all go to keep those together, and she'll hand it to you directly, copy hand right back to her. Copy that stuff and preserve it. Because I said they won't go, they go to the grave with this stuff. She bragging, and then we got the 10 lessons in the clock of destiny, and y'all hiding stuff, and she hiding stuff. That ain't helping us none. Here's the story of what I'm saying about the blanket piece. And I said, and this is, I guess, what was the motivation for the elder. It was Cousin Ali that had told me. He had a barbershop in Canada. I don't have now. My man T.I. has that barbershop now in Canada. Todd Israel, peace, brother. I remember going by, and I think I went to his barbershop because Brother Ali, if y'all are not aware, MOORS-MUURS-MOORISCH products that also was connected to the temple. The prophet had put a Moorish tea together, and he said, I want y'all to have this Moorish tea because it's going to help keep disease off man. Europeans going to do a lot of stuff on disease. And plus, he also told us in the temple, boil your water. So he made a tea, and he made a compound, and he made a bath compound. He made it was a black elixir that you would mix and you can drink it with water. You can taste the licorice type stuff. And the other white powder compound, you put that in your bath. So anyway, we would once in a while go to him and get these products. We'd stop, and so I had to stop by. Well, this is what Cousin Ali said, and this is the backup. And I wish I could remember that elder sister's name, and I can't. For the life of me, I can't. And I can't find Cousin Ali, and I found out he has Alzheimer's. So I even lost him. He's down in Georgia, so anybody watching this, you can find Ali Moore Ill. He was once a grand governor here in New Jersey. He came to New Jersey. He said he has Alzheimer's. Please contact, if you can, let us know and talk to him. Anyway, he told me this. This is the early 90s. He said, there was an Asiatic that had passed, and this Asiatic was a follower of what we call the Moorish Science Temple of America, John the Baptist, who was Marcus Garvey. He was a follower of Marcus Garvey. The relatives, when the person died, threw all their stuff in the trash. And he proceeded to tell me that there was original works from Marcus Garvey's organization. It's not on top of my head right now, but you know the history. It was in the trash, historical work. And when he said it, a brother happened to walk in the back of the house or something, or walk down the alley or whatever, and seen it in the trash. I think he took it out of the trash to try to salvage it. So, what I'm saying to you, this is also what was happening even in the Moorish movement. You have a lot of elders that were going to grave with this stuff. Then you have other relatives, they didn't embrace this. But what do? They throw stuff out. When he told me that, my mouth dropped. It's been years since I told the story. But that's an example of, and I think maybe that's why, again, I love that elder sister for doing that. He's trying to save that and preserve and give a piece of history to everyone. But yeah, he said that the person had found a whole lot of Marcus Garvey original, so this person was a staunch follower of Marcus Garvey. And when that relative died, they just called themselves, clean the house out, and threw all that stuff out in the trash. So that's the importance of, respecting the elders, and if you can, with your movement. Now we got people that may have been a little younger when I was young, but they elders, so they got some stuff. You may talk to them, they might come up off some things. But still tying into what I'm going to be reading in this chapter. Chapter 5, in the Infinite Wisdom, Conditions of Man. Section 1, dealing with the wise and the ignorant. Remember, that's my whole agenda here. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of God. He appointed to everyone his portion in what measure seemeth good unto him. Has he endued thee with wisdom? Has he enlightened thy mind with knowledge of truth? Communicated to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doeth often, and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate, and doubteth not. He knoweth folly. Remember I mentioned that earlier. Nevertheless, it is a part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence, and to pity their absurdity. Yet, be not puffed up in thy own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. I want to stop at that point right there. I keep giving you points of saying the signs of a wise man and wise woman. They are humble. They are not conceited. They're not boisterous. clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man feeleth his imperfections, and is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation. But the fool pitteth in the shallow streams of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth he himself. He boasteth of attainments in things that are of no worth, but where it is a shame to be ignorant, there he has no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth him with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. I wanted to read that. It took me the longest. I know I was supposed to do the last thing, but again, we already know our theme here is, like I said, I'm mainly going in on those who claim to be wise, and we're surrounded by a lot of fools. And as a matter of fact, I think I am going to read this more often, right along with the Asiatic covenant, Asiatic nation, because again, a lot of people need to keep hearing this. Now, I'm going to stay on schedule. Remember I said I want to bring up the moral compass. Now, this is one of our lessons we get from the Great White Brotherhood, but I'll make it simple for you. I'm going to give you the reflection. You're going to understand when we say reflection. All right. Because then I'm going to touch on some more Atlantean history that's ancient, that's been hidden. So now I'm going to put that. All right. Now, the Great White Brotherhood, for some of you who may not know, this is a great brotherhood of all holy men and women around the world. Even Prophet Emmanuel was a part of this. All your prophets were, and prophetess. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a charge I'm going to give to you all. Start doing research and start pulling up some of the prophetess. Because being under patriarch rule, this is why they keep saying, probably keep saying, you are the mothers and fathers of civilization. And you have to put everything back in check. You're functioning under a patriarchal system, so where they hid even sisters who are holy women. Some of them are hidden in Islam, if y'all didn't know. All right. So the Great White Brotherhood is a priesthood of all brothers and sisters that come together in fellowship and focus on the higher teachings and actually doing actual spiritual work to quell negativity on the planet. So now you're Moors, I got you where I want you. Now you're understanding the other piece that was the sacred Addab book in the temple, which you had called the Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood of the East. They are all basically reflecting our grand priesthood of Arabia, or we say our Magi faith, or the Great White Brotherhood. All right. I want to read here off the page, but then again, we call this the moral compass, and it's going to make sense. I'm going to read the little caption here. And they basically quoted Matthew chapter 5, verse 16 at the top. It says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So now, the moral compass is, your life's journey is the same here. And it says the true morality consists not in following the beaten track, but in finding out the true path for ourselves and the fearlessness following it. All right. Now, this is going to make sense. When you're talking about a compass, you're talking about a direction. And you might hear this term dealing with criminals, and I'll say it sometimes. You might hear it where I say, you're dealing with a criminal. Usually they have a broken moral compass. Right. The moral compass is broken. So to make this, I'm gonna start from 12, but I'm gonna write it diagonally so you can understand. And later on, y'all get copies of it. We're gonna make sure y'all get it. So the focus on God, its reflection is love. So in the moral compass, it has God here, and its direct reflection is love. And I'm starting from 12, 1 to 1. Right? So it says family, and the reflection is tolerance. So, family. And again, Moors, I appreciate you being patient. A lot of tools I give you, and you notice later on we'll revisit them. But I'm trying to give you sacred work that is relevant, and then, you know, when you do reflect back on it, you're like, all right, now I see where this falls in. All right. On the moral compass, we're now at 2 o'clock. Friendship. Friendship and its reflection is forgiveness. So, friendship. Oh, and I want to take a moment again. It's being brought to you by the House of Reawakening Minds located in Wilmington, Delaware. All right. All right. Forgiveness. And the next at your 3 o'clock is respect. And its reflection is restraint. Again, for those who are out there in social media land, appreciate you tuning in. And even those who view it being played back. And I trust you see the value of any and all lessons that we give you. And I trust y'all see a little method to my little madness and me giving you what I have. And it's just a matter of me finally getting to the point of having a lot of the literature printed up for you. But meanwhile, like I said, I basically try to condense it so you can at least still get it. Now, we're at 4 o'clock. Let me make sure y'all get this. Now, the next, I'm going at the 4 o'clock area, is humility. Trust those who have been tuning in to the House of Reawakening Minds, in Delaware. You see that we have higher lessons for you that can be applied, and those who truly follow the path of enlightenment, you see the value. Now, its reflection is honesty. When y'all see me right, you're probably saying, man, this is not good. I used to get paid doing my buddy's letters when I was in the Navy. I have better handwriting. All right. So we'll stop there, and then I'm going to erase this and we're going to finish, but I'm going to make sure everyone else got this. So we're stopped at the 4 o'clock. So again, this is your moral compass. This is what we're taught in the Great White Brotherhood. And to reflect, again, like I told you, what we do, we're giving lessons from like an ascended master. My favorite ascended masters, and I may have given it to you before, but I know some of you come and you may catch little things here and there. The ones I used to write to, or that is my patron saint, is Serapis Bey, El Moria Khan, and like I said earlier, my other favorite ascended master is Thoth. Y'all call him Thoth, but you say Thoth, or Tehuti, or you say Thor. All right. And so when we're giving our lessons, they also give us a focus. So every first Sunday of a month, all Ashellas, in case you want to know, let me spell this real quick. This is basically what we're called when we're become a member of Great White Brotherhood, Michelle. So a little something, don't look that up. We're given a focus, so we'll just say the focus would be we're in breathing, we're retaining, and now we're projecting love upon the planet. All right? So it's usually a rhythmic focus, but that's just a basic example. And so it's the first Sunday of the month that all of us consider a holy day, and we usually will be in prayer, and that will be our focus. Our focus will be to pray on the planet. If you know it's war at such and such place, you want to focus that. And I always tell you more, that's why I'm telling y'all, what I do. People see me with my little poofy on my head. I was always wearing tartar bushes. You got a fez, but we wore tartar bushes. We didn't have our fez. Or I ain't on my brother had tartar bush on. I started doing this because I was dancing and I need my hair to breathe. But nonetheless, people see me walking the street, have my little bag, my prayer beads in hand. I told you I'm doing the spiritual thing at the same time I'm going around. I'm trying to change the frequency. And so this is what I'm divulging to you right now, and I said this before, but I want to repeat it again. This is the other part of your responsibility as Moorish Americans, as Moorish nationals. All right, as Moroccan Americans, that the knowledge we're giving you, I'm giving you this because you're connected to this. Remember I told you you're a holy race. You're descendants of the God race. So your situation is really peculiar. It's different from anyone who came out as a POW or slavery or whatever. You have a great responsibility. This is going beyond you. You were once kinds or quines. You were gods. You were so powerful, you heard a person in prayer, you come up right to him and say, and what? You answer their prayer. And if it was in your power, you answer it. Why do you think they got the myth stories of the genies, the jinn? I think I explained to y'all before, but I'll go into that another time. I'll make sure I have that for the next class. The jinn was just a person that's just one step away from becoming a master. And remember I explained to y'all what the masters were? Because I said our Hittian faith, it's not like any other faith. You've got this faith that takes you, you follow the prescribed knowledge, you become an immortal. But then you have some people, that's why I read the wise and the ignorant, you still have some people who were fools. And even though they had this higher knowledge, they missed a step. And so now they're stuck at the level that you get caught up with the fable of the genies. They have all that great power, but one thing holds them back. They're stuck to a lamp. Or I love the X-File version. And remember I told y'all before, when I said about the Johnny Quest and all that, and Darryl Thomas said that the government got to give you the truth, but they never said how they had to disperse the truth. Well, go back to the X-Files. And there's another one that was kind of like it was fringe. But we're going to stick with the X-Files. The writers of that show went to your FBI and pulled the damn files and stuff. So those stories are based off of that's what they call them, the X-Files. Weird-ass cases that they couldn't solve. So now, got you where I want you. Let me get this. There's an episode where there was a sister that was called a Janiyah, and I love it. I had audio taped it. I thought Brother Osiris was going to be here. There's an episode where there's one guy is in he worked for one of those storage places, and he got a behind hold of a boss, and he's supposed to be clearing the thing out, and before he comes, he sees this Oriental rug. I say Moorish rug. And he unravels it. And mind you now, let me go back a little bit. The storage was so old, you can see the cobwebs. They come to find out it was a guy in the 70s that had put the storage stuff in storage. Now, X-Files is 90, so that was 20-something years. And he realized the stuff was old. He even seen a picture of the guy looking like one of them old suits like John Travolta, so it was showing you the disco, what's the name, but, they never knew what happened to him. So, his boss is like, oh, hurry up. Get this stuff done. When I come back, he drives away, and he sees this rug, and he unfurls the rug, and this woman comes out. And The story is based off of Nailah, which is a genie. So I want y'all to see that episode. So, but anyway, and the sign of a Nailah was supposed to, she had a little jewel drip like beside her eye. So what she does is she actually gives you 3 wishes. The episode was the guy found it, right? And how it started was his boss came back. Obviously it cut, so it didn't show you he made a deal. And he said, "Oh, shut up." And then you look at the guy, he has no mouth. He made his boss, and then so when the show then ran its credit and it came on, he's now sitting with Scully and Mulder with a new sewn mouth, because they had to cut his mouth open. You see the stitches, and he's in pain, and he's talking to them. I don't know how this happened, and yada yada. And so this is how Mulder and them got to and started investigating this Janiyah, this genie. Well, the thing I like about it in the movie, and I don't want to go too far from the show, the episode, was she mentioned how she got her powers. Guess what she mentioned? She was from the 1500s. She was one of them European women that was poor, scratching the surface. Yeah, Europeans trying to do that with you, scratching the surface of potatoes and stuff. And she said it was a Moor who came into her town. And I can't remember all the details of it, but she said he asked her what she wanted, and she said, "I want to be so powerful, I want to be able to reach in my sack and pull all these potatoes." And he said, "Done." And it tricked her and wound up being a genie. That's how she became a genie. But she mentioned a Moor. So, yeah.
It's from season 7, episode 21.
Oh, see, you get 2 hugs from me unless you slap me back. And then I have to do the blank man, you slap me back. Thank you so much. Say season 7.
Episode 21.
Episode 21.
Yeah.
Please see it more as you'll understand. And then again, like I said, no one else ain't saying this. Like I said, I appreciate y'all even hearing me speak. I feel like I ain't got nothing to really tell y'all. But these little things, little strands, do have a connected dots. So again, when you're watching that and then you get pumped up, you want to see other episodes. Again, like I said, the writers went and pulled, using the Freedom of Information Act, and pulled stuff from the FBI files to do those episodes. So those episodes are based off of actual stuff that you call, they just call it X-Files. So y'all don't think it's just a, fanciful thing. It's based off Lucy, but that was kind of one of my favorite X. So, I want to go on to that. But anyway.
It's a weird spelling. It's called J-E.
Yeah, Janiyah.
No, J-E, then capital S-O-U-H-A-I-T-E.
The name of the episode?
Uh-huh. It's J, like Soul High Tech. J, Soul, whatever. Here's the man with his mouth all.
Yo, you seen it. See, yeah, you see it. You see it, yeah.
Right.
And I want to get that whole episode of the whole series. Because again, none of this surprised you because you're Moors, you're here. So you understand. I always keep saying again in short, why do you think they got Area 51? So, all right, let me get back to this. So now, you brothers and sisters, you already on the path of light. So now you're getting more to help fine-tune your moral compass, what I'm giving you. Again, I'm going to give you, at times, we're going to copy this so you can have it direct. Because we would get lessons, and then I would pull out some of my old Great White Brotherhood lessons, and sometimes booklets. It was the size of, like this, 8 by 10, and it may not be as many pages, and some may be a few pages. And it would basically be a lesson from any particular Ascended Masters. And there are many Ascended Masters that you may not even know about. Remember what I also kept telling you. I want y'all to wake up, because I'm not going to say I parted from them, because what we did was every year we had to re-up our spiritual contract with them. And remember I told you, whenever Europeans get your stuff, what I say, they taint it. Because I was also a Hittian at the time, and I'm noticing in a religious house is church. And I'm like, if you claim to be the Great White Brotherhood, it existed way before Christianity. Same thing, even Europeans, they embrace some of our Hittian faith. They keep, they'll tell you about the Christian church and stuff, but then it's like, well, why are you naming your religious house church? And if you're studying history, the church was a religious house for the god Circe. So again, you know, you Lemurians, you Moors, your religious houses was either temples, lodges, synagogues, ashrams. Yes, I see that. Raise your hand.
Islam, it's interesting when you talk about the goddess Circe,
Mm-hmm.
and you think, and in terms of its connection to church, what Circe would do was capture men, would get them, keep them. The so-called mythology of Circe is that Circe was a sort of a goddess that would capture men, hold them captive. Once they were in her grasp or her power, they were almost powerless to escape. And when I thought in terms, you know, me having been a pastor and what the church does generally, you can get in as a child, and you get in there and you are held captive to the tenets of the faith of the church. And so on the same basis of what Circe did to men, to basically they lose all sense of reasoning,
yes,
and be in her spell, is the same thing that the dogmatic church does.
Mm-hmm. And we got to also add into our people too, just what they do in the mosque. You know,
Well, in other religious,
yeah. But we're saying mainly that which was thrown at you. And again, like I said earlier, our brothers and sisters, we got to leave that alone. That's not your faith. The reason why the Europeans are in power, because again, no matter how much we talk corrupt it is, the reason why they in power is because they honor their forefathers. That's the faith of their forefathers. And then what makes it worse, like I told you, you already know, your spiritual energy also feeds them. And then you're going to sit there and call them white. And Prophet taught us, white means God, ruler of the land. Stop calling Europeans white. Every time you call them, you're blessing them. And then every time you call in your own people, you're calling them, you're cursing them. So anyway, again, I'm giving you the basics of higher lessons.
We move the mic stand just a little bit so we can just shout at the board.
Oh,
So they want what you know, they want to see what you.
get myself out of the way.
Right.
Do I move this over any or no?
Nope, you don't have to touch it.
Cool. So I'm giving you your higher lessons that obviously Prophet Joali was aware of too. Because remember now, you know, I've already explained it before, but I'm going to say it again. When they talk about Joali, and he was a merchant, and he left here, he was with a carnival, and that's how he traveled a little bit, and then he became a merchant, was having, and then that's how he got over to Egypt. He got overseas, and you always hear the story that he came across the last of the high priests, but you know, someone never tell you the high priest. Did you know high priest is not a term or title used in Islam? Tell me where it comes from. I am the truth and I'm standing before you. I'm just a grade rank higher than that. I'm a grand priest. So what he met was someone that was a Hittian. It was a Magi. And then they recognized Joali, and like you said, when you're dealing with God, people got a purpose, and they began to train him. And so he got the universal teaching. So I just kind of qualify this. This is half of the conference, and then we're going to finish it. But I want to make sure y'all get it. And as time go on, beloveds out there, all the people, we're going to make sure y'all get it. But this is basically what it's understanding. So when you're focusing on God, your reflection is love. When you're focusing on family, you're focusing on tolerance. This is another thing that's pointed out in Freemasonry. A lot of brothers and them that met up with us, and we went to the. And thank you so much again, beloved, for inviting me to the Masonic. Early this month, the Masonic thing, they got to see everything, and you'll see the word tolerance, hope, and all that. So, but that is one thing that's basically talked about a lot in Freemasonry, and this is why you don't see too much of other Freemasons fighting each other or Eastern Stars, because this is part of their tenets. You gotta have tolerance. People of other religions. That's why they'll have every holy book on the. It depends on the lodge. But we'll say if this is the altar, it'll be a big altar, and you'll see the Circle 7, the Holy Corvette that they got, and the Bible, and the Book of the Dead, and the Holy Quran. But they don't let you get no argument of my prophet's the best or whatever, what have you. And even some Christians miss it, and they be wondering why, why don't let us mention Jesus? We heal in Jesus' name because a lot of it's fallacy. I had up there early when I had the question started, and I'll tell you what that basically was based off of Isis and Horus. And that's what Jesus and Mary's story is based off of that. Thousands of years ago, a lot of Christians can't answer that. And even those who are so-called scholars of Christians, like the sister has explained so beautifully, they're not in their right mind. They just, everything Christian, and they just start making up stuff. Just like, let's be real. They won't call Christ is a holy word. No, that's a curse. That meant somebody was crucified. But guess what they'll say? It's a holy word, because then they'll eventually have to tell you that they reached in Eastern faith to grab the word, to give it a root word, Krishna. But they ain't the same people that will sit up there and condemn a Christian, our Christian. So stop playing. Yeah, he was anointed, but he said, I am the Nazarene. He ain't never said I was Christ. And I don't call my brother a liar, and I never thought Prophet Emmanuel was a liar. So, family ties. Friendship. Remember I said it's the more compass. And what's this reflection? You gotta focus on forgiveness. And we all had good friends. Like I had said to someone before I came here, we was talking, I was waiting for Sheriff Eric to pick me up. I told him, I said, it was an elder that told me, and he's no longer with us. He was the actual brother that we last had a physical place for roundtable in camp. And he said, you know you're a good person when you get to my age and get older. He said, when you can count how many friends you got only on one hand, you're going to have some friends that are left over. So I'm bringing that up to say this. What is one of the main things you deal with in friendship that you always are tested? And this is how you find you have good friends. And then you have some people that's not really a friend. They're associates. You always have a falling out here and there over something petty. But if you're a good friend, your friend, or like the sisters used to say back in the day, when the sister was out of pocket, she said, your slip is showing, girl. That was the way y'all talked in code. The sisters talked in code.
Still do.
See what I'm saying? And a friend that loves you will say that. And the other friend that was in the wrong, she really had a deep love for her other friend. She know her friend, because what? Like they say, consider the source. Her friend has an intact moral compass. My girl ain't going to steer me wrong. So I need to listen to what my girl say. And that's just a speed bump in their friendship of many years to come. And then they look back on that, and then, you know, in case somebody don't get too, you know, ranked on it or whatever. Sometimes some people take it too far and might take it as an insult. Now that means her friend is dealing with her own shortcomings. And as time go on, if she stopped talking to her, this is what she needs to focus on to get back that friendship is what? Forgiveness. And in that forgiveness, then she'll find her own fault. I'll just use that real quick, because we'll go into it later on, but I just want to keep giving y'all tools and stuff. So thank you for that example there to add to my activities. So we need to do that with the brothers, you know what I mean? Because that is done in Freemasonry if you didn't know. Like if you got a problem with another brother, and they tell you, don't go out there, you don't air your stuff out. Go, brothers, you going behind the doors, closed doors, and you take care of that. So remember when I showed you once, but I'll say it again, but I'm going to go through it, keep this flowing. So when you see Freemason brothers and we embrace, you Moors do it already, but the more technical, knee to knee, embrace on hand on the shoulder. All right? Those are symbolic. Meaning, I got you, bro. You're my brother. And then also, if you error, you know what I mean? I'm going to whisper in your ear, you know, would you check? Come on, brother, this is wrong. I got you, brother. You know, and if you got enough daggone sense, you're not going to take it as an insult. You're going to listen to your brother, man, especially if you travel on the right path. But if you're not, and you pull ignorance and boisterous, and we not talk about that in the infinite wisdom, where you're talking about the foolishness and, you know, the wise and the ignorant, they will miss it, and then they'll have a fallout with their brother. Like I told somebody, and I'm not mentioning no names, supposed to be my fellow brother, going after my father, and him and I met each other through the ritual. We were tied together, and I ain't did nothing wrong to him, and I helped him. He won't lie and say I ain't help him. And he's proven he ain't truly a Mason. Or he gonna call me a coward out of my name. And he was my brother, man, and he ain't, I looked at it as he ain't never did nothing wrong, so he could never do nothing wrong. But when I found out he going after my dad, I'm letting y'all know. And I ain't got to say no names. That's somebody you need to watch. Because he's not only supposed to be my Moorish brother, he's supposed to be my Masonic brother. So we have an obligation to each other. That's another reason why I flow by myself. I see what they mean. You know, when the masters and all travel by themselves and they become loners or hermits. He has no honor. All right. And more on your compass, respect. And the reflection, when you have respect for another's mind, you also have restraint. And the other one is humility. Did we not mention in the chapter that I just read from the infinite wisdom dealing with the wise and ignorant, which basically is a great sign of someone who's very wise. I know I spend a long day. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all got excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, I apologize, y'all. Anyway, when I said, when I said the great sign of a wise man and woman is that they are humble. Remember that, Moors. Remember that, brothers and sisters. Because also, Moors, if no one ain't told you, you know there's people of other nationalities watching y'all taking these teachings. You know that, right? All right, so you really want to be able to find out if you got a good teacher, somebody that's teaching you good or what have you. Look for this quality in that individual.
That's right.
That's why I get upset, and I am blessed because I am from this man's loins. Most people say, oh, he got to say that because that's his dad. No, that man's a beautiful brother. My father's a beautiful brother, man. We could be here, and he could be here and eat his food and plate of food. You're good and decent enough brother, because now, you know, we can't almost do everything that we used to do back in the day. You can't just grasp my help and just, you know, they set you up, they're Satanists, and they try to bump you inside your head, you're going to be on somebody's sacrificial thing. But if you size the situation up, and, you know, somebody ain't got no food, daddy gonna eat his food, you sit there, he'll give him half of his food. If he had an extra shirt, the brother ain't got a shirt. My father's like that. And then yet he can sit here from sun up to sundown and just keep giving you wisdom. That's a man touched by God. And it's a blessing when you can find a sister too that's like that. And I have some elders like that. And I said, but the first sign of a person is truly wise, a man of God, a woman, and humble, and have humility.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's not like you can't develop it. It's like the babies. Again, in church, you know, they offered me to come to the Masonic thing, and that was something I used to do a lot. We used to do when we nationalized everybody. I see Brother Troy, and he didn't get to come. But anyway, I kept thanking him. I said, thank you for inviting me. You know, everybody wanted to spend time with me. You know, like, nah, man, you're cool. I'm like, y'all cool. I'm like, hey. You know, then we got to talk a little bit more afterwards. But, you know, I appreciate what y'all might see as little things, but it's big to me. And even if I have something to tell you, like I said, I don't take it for granted. Y'all been around my father a lot of you studied on your own. So I feel as though I may not have much to give you, so I'm giving you the best I can, and I'm doing what I can to keep you interested. So I know y'all ain't no dummies. But at the same time, I also recognize to be humble. Just the fact a lot of y'all called me. I apologize I couldn't get back to a lot of y'all. I got to talk to Brother Troy, talk to him and everything. But, you know, I can't get to everybody. But it's the point that I at least recognize that the Lord had blessed me with the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that I was seeking and still seeking to increase. That there's others that's traveling this path, and I at least have something to give, and they at least find some interest in what I have to say and give the best interpretation of what I can. And then I also make it so it won't be clouded by my views. I also give you tools so you can point you through the way. Because remember, that's the other thing. You always have to deal with people when they cloud or taint or touch whatever knowledge, and they put their own spin on it. But if you get a person who's truly humble, they're going to give you the truth. And they don't give it to you with love. That's a great sign. And then when you meet good people, always give honor and give blessings and appreciate that. Of course, the reflection of humility is honesty. Of course, if you're a person of God, no angels don't lie. No one lies in heaven. No one lies in a college. Go ahead. And you had practiced that here on earth as Moors. You ain't know nothing about lying. You got more back into contact with your children, your kids. They are deceptive. Like I told you, please study the language of Rainbow. Any documentaries on YouTube. And I tell you, one of the main traits you'll find out from the chimpanzee, they're very cunning. Very cunning. All right? But yeah, like I said, humility. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying it. I was talking to the brother. I'm going to write the rest of the conference as I'm talking to you. I was telling my brother how I had a conversation with some of these individuals for another reason why I felt bad. Because I couldn't stand a whole room full of so-called Moors, and you got Moors that's dropping knowledge, and another one all of a sudden, starting to drop, so-called dropping, and then this thing, they're yelling, and they're yelling at you, they're talking at you, as opposed to, instead of just teaching you and talking directly to you, and what have you. Matter of fact, Sheriff Eric was talking about, and I was saying how I learned this from Father, that if I'm teaching, he said that when you teach as though it's your family. And so if you notice, like if I ask y'all questions, I don't berate you and go, oh, you should know this or what have you. I try to give you the knowledge and give you time to answer. And if you can't, then I give it to you. And because I want you to win. Like we say, ultimately, there's someone outside. I'm just gonna see that. But anyway, that I lost my thought. Finish writing this.
That you want them to win.
Yeah, I want the person to win. Person to win. And the way I teach is like Father had said, all right, 10 minutes here. I teach as if I'm teaching my children. Of course, we have love, so I started there. All right, and so when I teach you or drop knowledge with you, all right. So I just need to do one more. All right. So I'll just do this. That like I said, when I teach you as if you were my children. His father has said this as an example. He said that He said that if you were a teacher and your child had a course that was the same that you teach. He said, and the child has a problem, and the child approaches you, are you going to teach the child like the teacher does, and go through the whole process? Or are you going to cut the fat and get to the meat of the subject? And are you going to sit there and berate the child? You should know this, remember, you're the parent. Or are you going to say, now this is how this is done. If they don't get it, you're going to be more patient with them, and you're going to deliver the truth with love, and you're going to make sure they get it. They don't have the answer, you want to give them the answer. Then you want to backtrack and show you how, you want to show them how you get the answer. But here's the key thing. You're going to cut the fat, if you will. Get to the point of that subject. So the best I'm explaining right here now is what Father had told me decades ago. And he said, we're going to teach the people. Teach that way. And he said, your name will be on the lips and hearts of the people. So he said, teach them, he asked me, he said, you're going to teach them like, like these other individuals and be all harsh, or you're going to teach them like you teach your children, Princess Sharita, Princess Jeanette. And I said, I want to teach them like I treat my babies. He said, when you do that, you know, they'll make sure they'll, for one, get the lessons, and they'll appreciate it. And that's what we need. Again, you already know I don't need to write the 5 principles that you more so aware of, but you should be able to reflect and see what you have seen now, that a lot of people are not focusing on those 5 principles. And the first one is love. All right, so here's the rest of it. I wind up clearing it. Gratitude, and its reflection is prayer. And I'm pretty sure Dr. Nailah probably may have did many sermons and what have you on that, lessons, because whenever you do, you know, you get something from the universe, you be grateful, and you be in prayer. And when you're in prayer, you're grateful. But always be grateful for what you get from the universe and what you got. I'm trying to cover a lot, maybe afterwards, because I know we're going to cut. I want to do a demo, so maybe I'll do that afterwards. But I appreciate that everyone tuned in, and those who came out. And I want to close out by reading the chapter, as I said before, which was and still is a tradition in the Moorish Order Roundtable, where we read chapter 25. Because Father said we need to have this said all the time to remind a lot of these brothers and sisters, because again, you tell me what you say. Those out there, I know you may make comments on the videos or whatever, but the individuals that you see that always have harsh words against Moors who are doing positive work, and they the armchair revolutionaries, you know, or keyboard revolutionary, but they ain't really out here in the street trying to raise the people really, you know, they forget their principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And then they forget the divine cord that binds us. That's also what the cord in Freemasonry represents. That cord that binds you. The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. But the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thine own birth. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continue to do all in your love to each other. And heal. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam, thank you. We'd like to give a warm welcome to Father Hannibal Bey tonight for coming out and giving us a great lesson on Moorish, Magi, lesson 104B. And we'd like to thank you for coming out and tuning in to House of Reawakening Minds as we strive to be a holistic center for spiritual grounding, free thought, self-discovery, and Moorish science, an awakening experience for all ages. We have some upcoming events for the month of August. August the 3rd, we have our national grand sheik, Taj Tariq Bey, will be returning back. We'll bring you more lessons of understanding of your Moorish national birthrights history. That information will be posted on the House of Reawakening Minds Facebook page. Please invite, share, and ask more to join in. We encourage you. We encourage you also to support, give support. It takes great, efforts to continue the filming and the lecturers for, lodging, transportation, and, just a gift. So we would definitely like encouragement for our online viewers. On Sunday, let me back up with the date. Sunday, we have a special event on Sunday, July the 29th, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We have Tuari Chica is an astrologer, master astrologer, who 25 years, who will have live readings. So please come out and support, and also learn more about yourself through your natal chart and how you work through and with the planetary. And also, let me go back to August. On August the 10th, on Holy Friday, the Holy Day, House of Reawakening Minds will be closed that day. Pastor Gilliam is going in, Pastor Gilliam will be an honorary speaker at a 2-day spiritual retreat in Pearlstone Center in Maryland Territory. So House of Reawakening Mind will not broadcast on August the 10th. That information will be posted as well. Thereafter, August the 17th, we will resume again with our National Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. And that Saturday, August the 17th, we have again our brother Aaron L. He will come forth with a Writing to Freedom class on August the 18th, that's Saturday. And August the 24th, once again, Father Hannibal Bey will be returning again to give you more lessons of your Adapt Moorish science. Once again, we thank you for tuning in and have a great evening. Islam.